tight. Matchsticks flicked in the dead of night. They sell fear, cheap package the lies while the clock keeps ticking. Empires on fire. Can't sit quiet while the world's on edge. Lines in the sand, standing on the ledge. No script, no leash, no polish, quiet. Just a voice in the dark and a spark to the wire. This is. And I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear. I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is. And I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. Everybody's selling truth like a brand. Buying opinions they don't understand. Talking in circles, screaming online. Keyboard courage borrows spines. Yeah, power plays dressed up as peace. Same old walls with different teeth. But silence is loud when the house is burning. And the fuse is short, yeah, it's still learning. I don't dance for the left or the right. I stand in the heat, I stand in the fight. No strings, no chains, no manufactured choir. Just gasoline thoughts and an open lighter. This is. And I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear. I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is. And I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. World's on tilt, pressure climbing. Truth don't whisper, it's perfect timing. You can't cancel the smoke, you can't stop flame. Say my name when it hits. Say my name. Why? Say my name. Say my. Fire don't ask permission. Fire don't need a side. Fire just shows up honest and exposes the lie. This is. And I'll bring the fire. Truth is harder. Burn it down till what's real survives. No smoke, no mirrors, just heat and lies. And I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. American fire. Strike it. Let it speak.
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. We made it. What's going on? Whoo! Hope you guys had a good weekend. Are you ready for the show, for the time of our lives? Things are always crazy in this world, going wild. Watching a state just absolutely rob its citizens. That's always fun, right? Watching fraud play out in real time, but we are watching it, and that might be a silver lining. As Spencer Pratt has now dropped to third. They are calling it in LA for the other chick. It's insane. But wow. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about how insane and egregious this absolute highway robbery is that's going on in California. We're going to talk about some of the silver linings, though, they're still going on, how Trump's announced investigations, so on and so forth. We're going to talk about the upcoming constant justice going on, new stuff with Bill Pulte that's very interesting that Trump announced over the weekend. This what's going on with Iran, Israel, US. We'll catch up there. And then, are there DOJ, FBI investigations going in on grifters in the grifter report? So lots to get to, guys. It was a wild, interesting weekend, but I do hope you guys had a good, restful weekend. Members, we hung out Saturday night. Members in the house. What'd you guys think of the members live? Did you guys have fun? Did you learn something? Hope you did. So anyways, please hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're going to get right into it in just a minute here. I do want to say hey to the Chizat, so let's get started there. We'll start in Rumble today. Sheath777, Chrissy Katz, Robalor, all holding it down over there on Rumble. Welcome, guys. Thank you. Now here on YouTube, the big chat, where most of the peeps are at. We got Dabba Todd, numero uno today. What's up, my brother? Christina. Cass Inc., we got Jay Tyrus, Aiden Scotland, Susan Road Less Traveled, Smokehouse, LED, Scott Volkovich, Truth Finder, Donna M., Bobby Girl, Dog, Gen X Maga, Jonelle Wagga, let's see, Golden Code, Rum Dog, what's up, man? Francis Riley, Eric Brumbaugh has made it into the chat. Linda Goya, Saved by Grace, Kika, and who else gets a call out before we stop here? K. Shuey, Sandman, Foundation Preacher, Rafe, Tammy Anderson, Michael Richard, The One, What It Do, everybody else. Glad we're here. Love you guys. Appreciate you. And if you're a little bit up, a little bit, stay here a little longer, we'll get in a little earlier. We'll take care of you. Okay, so sound. Listen, I worked with sound today over the weekend. Let me know what you guys think. Is the sound better now? I did a lot of work on the sound, but I'll be honest with you, other than the members live, I haven't gotten to test it very much. So if my sound is crazy, I apologize, but I've done my best to make it better. I've listened. See, I'm very responsive to the crowd. You guys have told me you wanted it louder, so now I made it louder. Sounds good. Excellent. All right, glad to hear it. Okay, let me make sure. By the way, rules of the chat. You guys know the rules, but I will reiterate them for the newbies. But listen, please, chat is awesome. We have an amazing, amazing community here, the best on YouTube. All discussion, questions, even disagreements are welcome if you're honorable and respectful. Otherwise, if you're trolling it, you's out. You gone, baby. I got the moderators watching for it. They will kick you out. We don't do trolls here. We don't do the jerks here. We do the real stuff, the real good stuff. And I must have a sound guy now. No, I don't have a sound guy. I do everything myself. I did have somebody be like, how do you produce so much if without, somebody behind you? There must be somebody behind you, they said. You must be promoted and somebody is controlling you, because there's no way somebody like you by yourself could produce so much content. I'm like, oh, well, I do it. I do it all, baby. I figured it out. Sorry that I just know how to do it and others don't, but that's how it is. There's nobody controls this show but me. All right, glad to hear it from you guys. Thank you for the sound checks. And last things, please reach out. I will answer questions when asked if you tag me and I see it, and if you super chat me, you're guaranteed. All right, that's the rules of the show. It's also a way to support the channel. All right, you guys ready to get into it? Because we got to get into it. There's just a lot to talk about in this, especially with this whole California and midterms thing. It's getting wild. So we're starting off Monday and getting into the interesting stuff here. Benny Johnson reports, actually this report's everywhere, but I liked his post, the way he broke it down the best. He says, they want you to believe this happened in the LA mayor's race. Third place jumps to first in every ballot drop after election day. Defies all mathematical probability. Law of averages has never happened in U.S. election history. We're going to get to that in a minute. No one with a functional brain believes this. I tend to agree with that. I was listening to Two-Way this morning, which I always listen to Two-Way. I'm not promoting it. I'm not telling you guys to do the same. I personally like it, not because I agree with it, not because I think Mark Halperin's on the up and up, but I like Larry, the MAGA guy they have on there. And I'll tell you, they do a great job of breaking down the main stories from DC. That's what they do well. And so I always listen to hear what people are talking about. I listen to hear the other side, what they're thinking. I listen to hear what the middle people, the establishment, is kind of narrative is, and it's interesting. It always is. And now what the narrative they're pushing right now really hard is that this isn't fraud. It's never fraud. It's the system is messed up, and they definitely could clean this up. It doesn't look good, but there's no evidence of fraud. That's crazy talk. Nobody really thinks that, and that's the narrative they're pushing, because they want you to not believe your own eyes. Well, I'm sorry, but guys, there's just no explaining this. So here's Pratt election night. It came in pretty strong early morning, way ahead. Way ahead. Third place candidates do not keep gaining like this. It just doesn't happen because there's two Democrats, and we already know that the one Democrat, Karen Bass, has the support. So they're asking us to believe that this second Democrat that most people either hate or don't even know who that is, that she overwhelmingly keeps gaining, even over Karen Bass in the mail-in counts. How does anybody reconcile that with any kind of honesty? There's just no way. And you see how Pratt leaped off the page in the beginning and completely plateaued until she overtook him. Guys, that just doesn't happen. It just does not happen, okay? There's never in American history been a third place candidate who has risen and overtaken like this. Mail-in votes are not suspiciously all for the last place person. I'm sorry. This is less believable than Joe Biden. This is less believable than if Kamala Harris had surged at the end, because that's at least a two-way race. And you can make the argument. There's, a little more one-sided. Maybe it's 60-40 mail-in ballots. Okay, maybe because of demographics. No one can make the honest argument that the third place no-name candidate is the most popular when it comes to mail-in. That doesn't make any sense at all. And so this is what they're doing in real time. And I got to tell you, folks, it's so obvious that there's going to be good stuff coming out of this because everybody is watching. Everybody's watching. Now, here's what it looked like by percentage. Here's the mail-ins arriving before Election Day, which theoretically, mail-in ballots should be going to the exact same demographics. Whether it's older people, sick people, lazy people, they're the same demographics that send in the mail-in ballots. So the demographic percentage should not change before and after. It should be nearly identical, maybe within a percentage point or two. 3 at the most. It should not look like this. Before Election Day and after Election Day. Karen Bass, by far the leader before. I mean, that's okay. I don't like it, but we can at least be like, I guess it's maybe believable. It's not egregious. After Election Day, she drops. Ramen surges 17% before and after. That, my friends, is not that is not on the up and up. That is fraud. That is, we need this many votes, go find them. Nobody, and I mean nobody, changes 17%, especially a third place no-name candidate. Nobody changes 17% within a day. I'm sorry. It just doesn't happen. Pratt collapses by 9%, which is also crazy. But it's a lot more believable than 17%, isn't it? This is insane. Nobody, and I mean nobody with a brain can believe this. And I'm sorry, Mark Halperin, who I know you're not watching my show, but you have a big name out there, and you're lying to people when you say there's no evidence, because this is evidence. It's circumstantial, but it's still evidence. And so it's insane. Now, mail-in ballots over the last 20 years. This just gives you an idea of how Democrats been doing this for a long time. Long time. Republicans on election night, 52%. And guys, guess what? That's before Trump, because this is 20 years. This goes back to 2006, 2004 range. What does this tell you? That even during the Obama years, Republicans were at least close or barely under, because we've held a 4-point advantage overall on election night. That's a red country, folks. But the elections decided after election night, Democrats win 80% of them. So when it goes past election night and they keep counting, 80%. Now, this is not good news for them, especially with what the Supreme Court is working on. Now, with all this going on, I mean, listen, Rahman even lost her own district to Spencer Pratt and Karen Bass, but now she's winning them beating them both in the mail-in. You don't lose your own district and then overwhelmingly win in later votes. That's, again, it's so crazy. But we got to show you. We show you all of it because you have to see it. You have to see it to believe it. You have to understand. You have to watch in real time because since 2020 and before that a little bit, but people just we didn't have a leader pointing it out. So nobody was jumping on it before. But since 2020, we have known and seen insane stuff. People are waking up to how crazy this all is. However, the difference is in 2020, a lot less of us, I was one of them, but I was in the minority, were watching it and knew the night of. We could tell the difference. Most people went to bed thinking Trump won, woke up, he didn't, and they were like, oh, that's strange. This is weird. I don't like this feeling. I watched it in real time. I watched as 300 ballots came in at whatever it was, 2, 3 in the morning in my time when I was watching it in Texas. And I was like, they just stole it. They did. Oh my God. I have a Facebook post from that the next morning, writing it and detailing it all down. I got the receipts. I called it in real time. But most people didn't believe this happened in our elections before then. Now, there's a huge amount of Americans watching this carefully, and it's waking them up because it's so insane. It's absolutely so insane. Now, we're seeing stuff like this come out. Lots of people all over the place says, I always thought Trump's accusations about stealing the elections in 2020 were BS. I believe the results back then were legit. Now I'm seeing the extremely odd mail ballot results in California races. I'm not so sure anymore. People are waking up. Here's Doris. Lived in California, registered as a 126-year-old who's voted in 51 elections and had no ideas. Here's a little Nick Shirley showing us what's going on.
So how old is this person who's eligible to vote here inside the United States, inside the state of California?
126 based on the Secretary of State.
And this is Doris.
Yeah.
And now we're going to see if Doris is home. Are you Doris?
She's right here. Yes.
Hello, Doris.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
We're just going through the voting rules here, and we're just confirming anybody who's above the age of 100 years old. And right here it says you're 126 years old.
No, you got the wrong house. Don't lie.
Are you Doris Wood?
Yeah, but you got the wrong house. I'm Doris, but you got the wrong place. That's the wrong information, all that stuff. No, that's wrong.
Oh, here, I can show you if you like.
No, it's just that it's wrong.
How come you think here in California they're just messing up on all these voting rules here?
I don't know, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it says you voted in 51 elections, Doris.
No, not me.
Really?
I'm not no 100-something years old.
I know.
I said I wasn't.
I just want to make sure you're not 126 years old.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, it really does say you're 126 years old here.
No.
Says,
Who did this be 126? That don't even make sense.
I know, that's what the Secretary of State says.
Well, the Secretary of State is wrong.
Okay, well.
Put it like this, I was born in 1940, so you figure that out.
All right, Doris. You have a good evening.
Wow. Wow. Now, was she scared? Is she complicit? Did she really not know? Who knows? It doesn't matter. The point is, she's obviously not 126 years old. And she probably hasn't voted in 51 elections, but crazy stuff. So it keeps going. You know, this kind of stuff's coming out in real time. Again, California is a big deal. People are watching this. This became, thanks to Spencer Pratt, a national race, which we don't get national races from California primaries, right? Nobody cares about this stuff except this year. Now, we're seeing more and more of these messages. I got a text tonight from a Democrat friend. Anyone with eyes can see what happened. What a clown show is the text. I'm a liberal from San Francisco. I went to college in Madison. Now I live in West LA, and even I'm livid. This is very good. See, sometimes you got to do temporary losses to get long-term gains. And I'm starting to think this might be what's happening because, again, people are waking up. They're seeing it. Excellent news. Now, a couple of good things still going on here. Steve Hilton, his lead was far enough ahead. He's going on to the general. That's excellent. We want that. We want a Republican in there. It was close. They tried to take it from him. I mean, look at the shooting up. Okay, like the Becerra, he got a bunch at the end, and but Steyer just kept plummeting, even though they tried to close it. And I believe Hilton is going to come in second, which he was first. So, there's some optics going on there. They didn't want that to happen, but they weren't able to take it away from Hilton. So that's good news. The other good news is this. Democrats, they were counting on, after redistricting, this to be a Democrat seat. And the Democrat could not beat either of the two Republicans. And so now you have a Democrat locked out. So the redistricting has blown up a little bit in Newsom's face, which is excellent for the midterms. This gives us even a better chance in the midterms now that this seat will not be picked up by a Democrat. So with all this going on, Trump is doing a great job keeping our eyes on it. After 24 hours of not posting, he put this out there. He says, has anybody been watching the crooked election going on in California? 2 great Republican candidates are being cheated, and so is America, which if the Democrats are able to fulfill their mission, great trouble and consternation will follow. Watch this election closely. I'm telling you, I have a feeling this is on purpose. I really do. I'm starting to believe that Trump wants this to happen. Because again, you can't. So if they had just put everything into effect as much as they could, and Pratt barely squeaked it out, not as many people would be waking up. You saw the text and messages I'm showing you of people getting mad, waking up, even liberals. This is, it's better if everybody wakes up, and then you got the people behind you, and then you can actually move stuff through. It's, it's the old saying, like, you can't tell people, you have to show them. And this changes a lot of stuff. I mean, if California, which is the leading bastion of Democrat supremacy, the liberal haven, safe haven, they're Shangri-La. If it's proven fraudulent, it wakes up a lot of people to Democrat chicanery in our nation. That will be a good thing. And while this is going on, we get the news Friday afternoon. The DOJ is now officially sending a prosecutor to observe the vote counting. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's get it down there. Let's get this on record and overseeing it all. Overseeing how they're doing it, what they're doing it, watching carefully, asking questions, digging deeper the whole time. Remember, they cannot stop the feds from going in, even if they want to, because these dummies, they sent out the ballots, even the state ballots, with federal elections on them. So now every single ballot is subject to the discretion of the federal government. Even the state elections. You see, state elections constitutionally can be held separately and differently than federal elections. But California wasn't smart enough to do that. They're picking off their state elections, but they did them on ballots with federal people on them. And because the federal election was run the same as the state election, they now can look at all of it. Now, Seth Kishel put this out today. It says, Pyrrhic victories come with massive blowback. And California's insistence on terminating Pratt's campaign in the jungle primary will bring about massive and positive change in the way we run elections. There's a newsletter today, linked in comment below, outlines 3 reasons why the California machine took him out now instead of the general. All of the wrong choices, might I add. So let's look at what Keshel has to say here. He says, let's see, get down to the reasoning here. Here's the chart again. Reasons why Pratt couldn't be allowed in the general election. The new wave of marketing. His marketing is so good and so cheap that he had a chance. with months more to go, weeks more to go, he had a chance to actually win because he could have convinced so many people over time to turn against Karen Bass, to wake up to what's going on. So they don't want to do this. They don't want to mess with it. And the rest is paywalled, of course. But oh man. Anyways, the point though is that Keschel is absolutely right. And this is the smartest guy when it comes to elections in America. He nailed 2024. He watches all the registrations. He has the data going back a very long time. And he's been fighting for election integrity for, 20 years, 15 years. The guy is a wonderful follow, and I highly recommend it. But he's saying what I'm saying, okay? And that is that this has a silver lining behind it. In an election midterm, one of the best things that could happen for us is that this goes on the primaries. Because now there is time before the general election. You have, right now, it's June. It's the 6th month of the year. We have 5 months until November. That's almost half a year. It's plenty of time. Plenty of time to get awakening. Plenty of time to get an outcry from the public. And plenty of time for Trump to expose a lot before the midterms. Now, if it gets proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that this election was stolen, that, my friends, is going to wake up a lot of people for the midterms, because no matter what's going on with gas prices, no matter what's going on in Iran, the American people are not going to vote for fraudsters. They're not going to vote for people who took away their vote. Now, I know what you guys are saying. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of people who will vote for that. I get you. But not the mushy middle. All we need to do is peel off 1 to 5%. That's it. And I guarantee you 1 to 5% will reject them if this is proven. So this is actually a very big deal and could be very, very good for us heading into the midterms. Now, Trump is doubling down on all of it, including the push for redistricting amongst Republicans. Many states said, hey, we're too far in. After the Voting Rights Act was struck down, we're too far in. We already held our primary. We can't do this. And Trump sent out the message this weekend. We can't allow there to be an election conducted unconstitutionally for the convenience of state legislatures. If they have to vote twice, so be it. We should demand state legislatures do what Supreme Court says must be done. That's more important than administrative convenience. The byproduct is Republicans will receive more than 20 House in the upcoming midterms. He's calling on all these states that made these excuses, like Mississippi, Georgia, to just go ahead and do it anyways. And he's setting the stage, by the way, that any of these states that send election results in that don't abide by the Voting Rights Act the way the Supreme Court has now interpreted it, that any of the states do not abide by this federal law, they could refuse to seat their people elected. They could refuse to seat their House representatives that they send up. That's a big deal. And I believe that's what the Trump administration is saying behind the scenes to these people. You know, if you guys don't play along, we're not going to recognize your results, which will lead to a constitutional crisis and will be kind of exciting to see. I'm not going to lie. I would love to see it go down that way, but we'll have to watch and see. Now, this weekend, Trump did a interview with Kristen Welker, NBC News. And this is how it ended. He let her have it. This is about election integrity.
Evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk
your
about
elections in this country. We're like a third world country.
But, sir,
your elections are crooked. and you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked,
Mr.
and so
President-
is ABC and CBS and CNN.
But, Mr. President-
You're one-sided crooked networks. All right, let's call it quits because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
Mr. President, let's please, I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
I've sat in the
traveled
rain with
all
you.
I know. I
I've sat in
traveled
the
all
rain
the
with
way
you
to
for an hour,
Wisconsin.
on and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your press because you know what?
Mr.
A
President,
country can never be
We
great
traveled
with a dishonest
Listen,
press.
we
Come on, let's
traveled
go.
all the way to Wisconsin for this interview.
You let her have it, man. I mean, why? I love what he shakes her off right here. He shakes his hand at her.
Please, I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
It's so good, man. So good. Oh, please, I traveled all the way to Wisconsin. Yeah, we really feel so bad for you. But this is, Trump knows what he's doing here. He knows what he's doing. He knows that on the left, people are like, hey, look at this crazy president. He bailed out an interview. It got too tough for him. Trump knows exactly what he's doing. Whereas on the right, what we see is that this matters so much to him. These people are so disgusting that he's putting on a show by saying, I'm done. You got nothing for me. And the right is cheering. By the way, many people in the mushy middle are cheering too. They hate the media. They might vote Democrat in this coming election because of gas prices and they don't pay that much attention, but they're no fans of the media. They're not watching Meet the Press. See, Trump is, again, he's always very smart about this stuff. This was not Trump just got angry and left. This was Trump throwing down the mic, dropping the mic. Election fraud? You don't even want to look into this? We don't have I'm out. Goodbye. It's performative. And it's very smart. Because right now, again, this gets more and more people. Watch. This clip, because of what Trump just did, is going to be circulated like crazy. It's going to be circulated. The liberal podcasters are going to put it up. Trump walked out on a tough interview. Trump can't handle the heat. This is what the liberals are going to all post. They're going to make their little videos about it. And people are going to be like, yeah, let's watch Trump get railed on. And then what they're going to see? They're going to see that, but they're also going to hear Trump, election fraud. You guys won't even look into it. They're going to hear that and they're going to say, oh, he's always saying that. But then they're going to be like, but yeah, California is a little weird. Not going to lie. And you keep pushing it over and over and over again. See, I worked in marketing for a decade. Digital marketing. I was really good at it. You know what the number one thing is in marketing? You know how you get people to buy stuff? Everybody thinks they're all logical, right? Now, it has nothing to do with logic. Even the smartest people impulse buy all the time. The emotional buys. But what you do is you make sure you're in front of people over and over and over again. And people who think you're crazy or your product sucks the first time they see it, well, by the fifth time they see it and hear it, the sixth time, seventh time, 10th time, they're thinking, I do keep seeing this thing. I kind of like it. I know. I don't know what it is. I can't stop thinking about it. That's what Trump's doing right here. It's very smart. Very smart. And now he just got clippable content about election fraud in a time when election fraud is happening right before our eyes in the largest state in America and one of the most exciting campaigns we've seen. Thanks to Spencer Pratt. He knows what he's doing. Very smart. Well, watch it. We're going to watch. It's only 50 seconds. We'll go through this one more quick time. I just want you to listen.
Evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk
Your
about
elections in this country. We're like a third world country.
Your elections in this country, we're like a third world country. People are going to be like, huh? Interesting. Yeah, there's going to be the people who dismiss it. Oh, Trump won't stop. But there's also going to be the people who they've heard it now again and they're watching what's going on in California.
Your elections are crooked, and you're crooked. And
Your elections are crooked. You hear that? And you're crooked, which most people are going to say, well, he's right about that. If he's right about that, that connects you to something else. Trump is so smart about this stuff, guys. It's crazy.
The press is crooked, and so is ABC and CBS and
He lists them
CNN.
all.
You're one-sided crooked networks. All right, let's call it quits because I've had enough.
So good. He did it so well. By the way, what a filter they put on him. They really oranged him up. Can you tell that? Can you see that? So insane how they play this game. Now, with all this going on, the election fraud, Trump calling it out, and continuing to keep our eyes on this, all that. By the way, I forgot to mention, he does all that, right? And he walks out, and then she looks pathetically weak.
I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
On and off in the rain.
I traveled all the way to Wisconsin. You know how pathetic and weak that sounds? Sorry, I was reminded to go look at that again as I pop back. But so with all this going on, Trump is calling us out to it. He keeps Truth Socialing about it. Everybody's watching it. Tim Pool's doing election fraud videos. He's getting millions of viewers. Everybody's talking about this. The left is having to defend it nonstop. This is what we want. We want it in front of everybody. You see, what's so amazing about this is that in 2020, it was, the Republicans are, it's a national election. They're throwing a hissy fit. It was easy for them to look past. This time, this is happening in their North Star state, their pride and joy. It's happening there. It's taking a month. People do not think this is cool. And this is waking up a lot of people who did not think 2020 was stolen. And now, but they're forced to look at this one. So again, it's genius. So while all this is going on, people keep coming to me like, how can you say like you're bullish on the midterms? I mean, come on, you're crazy. This is a blue year. I get comments all the time. Look at what gas is. Inflation is out of control, man. You're crazy. The economy sucks. Trump is sucking. He's going to lose. Despite the fact I'm always showing the data and all this. But they know they're losing. Right now, the Democratic Party is in civil war. Here's Fetterman willing to go to war with Graham Plattner. Now, Fetterman is he had a stroke and all of a sudden he's a common sense Democrat. Who knows? I guess that's what it takes these days. They're all like, we thought Fetterman got brain damage. The truth was he had brain damage and the stroke helped partially fix him. That's what it takes to wake up some of these Democrats. But there is a civil war going on right now in the Democratic Party, and it's because they nominated this Plattner guy, Tallarico, this crazy Muslim guy in New Jersey, another crazy one they're about to nominate in Michigan. The Democrats are like, oh my God, the crazies have taken over the party and we're losing it. Now, most of them are trying to play it both ways, but not Fetterman. He's calling it out. Listen to this.
Let me follow up on something you said there, because I don't think that we have this reporting. Did you say, or did Senate Democrats discuss Graham Plattner posting pictures of his, you called it his dick at, did you discuss this in a live?
Politics in 2026.
What I'm saying is that he has been sending sexually explicit kinds of messaging with women. And I assume over the 10 years that he was a membership in that, Okay,
so you're assuming that that's what he was doing. That's what I just wanted to follow up on, because if that's something that is in active conversation among Senate Democrats, that I think would be of interest to our audience.
A guy that he talked about and described dicks, he's already done that in his writings. And when he used to sit in the porty potties, he would say that he would want to masturbate in them and describe those things. So, I mean, he has very interesting kinds of
glad my children aren't old enough to watch this show.
But again, I had invited P. Hustle. He could just submit all of the messages that he sent to the dozen women last year. He could confirm that he is not sending those images, and he should confirm that all of those people that he was engaging in that were at least 18 years or older.
Her face, it's so funny. Sorry. I get it. I muted for that 5 seconds. I'm sorry. But her face is hilarious. It's so funny. It's just like she is she's just in pain as this is going on. She's like, oh, this is so uncomfortable, but I have to let it happen because it's real, right? It's insane.
So you want Graham Plattner, the main nominee, to confirm that people that he was exchanging sexual messages with were over 18 because you're concerned that they were underage?
No, what I'm saying, like if I was a main voter and I am not, I would have been concerned by some of these things, whether it's his 10-year-old membership with Kick and some of the other things. So it's clearly those things. But that's going to be the decision of the main voters. And I'd be surprised if he's not the one that prevails. But I know we all understand that candidates have baggage. But in his case, he is baggage that happens to be a candidate, incidentally.
He is baggage that happens to be a candidate. That's amazing. I mean, kudos to Fetterman, dude, just calling it right out. Now, this it's starting to become a thing. Here's Matt Whitlock. The Plattner versus Fetterman fight is incredible. Plattner, here's what Plattner's saying to Fetterman. Fetterman seems to genuinely think the reason no one likes him is because he refuses to wear a suit. It's not the hoodie, dude. It's because you become a stooge for AIPAC. Deuce the Jews. Isn't it funny that the worst person running for Senate, maybe ever, as far as just pure morality on the outside, okay? Like, at least from what we've seen from the beginning. Maybe the worst Senate candidate in history in that regard. That's legitimately how bad this is getting for Plattner. That this guy uses the same narrative that the faggot grifters use, that Thomas Massey uses, that Marjorie Taylor Greene uses. Interesting. And now they're using it on Fetterman. I guess everybody's just AIPAC. If we don't agree, if you have common sense, you're AIPAC. It's so crazy. It kind of tells you who's running the show here, right? That all these people say the exact same thing every time there's a challenge. Man. Yeah. Hey, if I'm Dave Smith, if I'm Tucker Carlson, if I'm Megyn Kelly, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I really want to be associated with this guy. Like, kudos to you guys. Good job. Good job. Y'all sound like a bunch of retards. This is so stupid, this AIPAC thing. It just gets crazier and crazier. I can't wait. Hey, come at me, bots, you the fools who watch me, the Groiper types who watch me just to hate watch me. Come at me and explain this one. You guys want to defend him now? I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it because I'd love you to defend this one. Graham Plattner calling Fetterman AIPAC. Hilarious. Absolutely freaking hilarious. So, and then Fetterman told McEnany on Fox News, if Plattner can prove all the people he was chatting with on Kick and sending dick pics to were adults and that were no minors, he'll wear a suit every day. I mean, my God. It's just, who watches Netflix? I'm sorry. I don't understand. I could just watch this all day. I could just read X all day. This is my life. I love it. This is the funniest, most entertaining stuff out there. It's better than any new show. It's better than any new movie. This is the best, most entertaining stuff out there. I'm sorry. It just is. To me, maybe I'm a crazy person, but I just find this to be the most entertaining stuff on the internet. And people are like, oh, the Democrats are gonna win. Look at this, they're just fighting. It's insane. It's hilarious, man. So Frank Luntz polled a bunch of people, and this tells you too, like, you know, where we're headed. Right now, 63% of Republicans still believe 2020 election was stolen. So much for people waking up and getting away from that. No, the Republicans very much are still watching this, and now 9%, 21% of independents. By the way, I think that's actually kind of high. That almost 10%, 1 out of 10 Democrats believe Trump lost in 2020 due to election fraud. See, he adds this only. I'm like, dude, that should be 1 or 2%. if they were in a good place. If nearly 10% of Democrats are saying that it was stolen, that's good news. But again, this is waking people up. I think this is really, the California thing is just going to keep adding to this. Now, with all the redistricting and like what just happened in California, with this fight going on, things are just getting worse and worse for them. Look at this. This is wild. Listen to this breakdown of what they need to win in the midterms.
Majority. Specifically, across the 10 states that redistricted, Democrats held 80 seats in 2024 to Republicans 101. Just to hold that ground, Democrats would need to outrun Harris's margin by 10.5 points.
Wow.
Do you hear that? In order to win the midterms, the Democrats have to, at least for the House, they have to outperform Kamala Harris in 2024 by 10.5 points. That is insane. That's blue wave level just to barely win. I don't think it's happening, folks.
Let's bring in Saturday in America anchor, Kayleigh McEnany. Kayleigh, so great to have you, especially on set. So it's so interesting. This is what's so great about politics. Who would have thought that we would be in this position where these maps have changed so much and the redistricting that all of a sudden, even in a tough, midterm environment, Republicans are looking pretty good.
That's why these fights on redistricting.
I just want to say you're welcome, because what these people on Fox News are now forced to admit, I've been telling you guys for at least the last 2 months, you're welcome. I'll take a bow. This is why people listen to this show, because I don't wait for the stamp of approval. I'll just tell you guys the trends as they're happening. Republicans are going to win. They're going to win. Do you understand? The upside is just there for us. That, like, we are the MAGA Republicans right now. We're at our low point. We're at our low point, and we're still nearly favored to win. We're at the low point because of Iran, because of gas prices. This is the low point. The economy is a little slower to start the year, but it's starting to pick up. 250 is coming. Big party all summer. Election fraud happening. People are watching right now. Iran will end. Gas prices are already going down. I'm sorry, folks. This is not going to be a lost election for Republicans unless something momentous happens. And Trump played it perfectly. Especially if this happens. Here's what they're expecting from the Supreme Court, which will change not everything, but nearly everything.
Yeah, it is. And listen, the world is watching very closely, but we all remember this is the way California does things. It's the reason so many House votes weren't, those races weren't called for days, for weeks in some cases. And California just says we're doing this very meticulously and just kind of give us our space. But even the Washington Post, which is not a conservative outlet, said, listen, this is a damning indictment against blue state politics, the way that you guys are handling this. That's from the Washington Post.
Yeah, actually...
when the Washington Post is calling you out, you're in a bad place as a Democrat. Just saying.
In the case of Pratt, who also is now, we're seeing, ballots coming back. Nithya Raman, she actually conceded a few days ago, like 4 days ago, and now suddenly she's up.
Yeah, and these keep tightening. And what we're told is, listen, a lot of these are mail-in ballots. They're going to come in later. Those tend to be more progressive. And apparently people held on to them to the last minute, California says. And again, California mails ballots to every single eligible voter out there. And so you've got millions of people who may be sitting on them. We don't know if they're coming back. So there's a lot of uncertainty built into this stuff with California. And by the way, the Supreme Court, we're waiting on an opinion from them about how long you can actually accept ballots in mail-in ballots after
insane.
Election Day.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So might impact this.
Why?
There it is. Before you go dooming and thinking, no, this one's already happened, the Supreme Court, no, you're wrong. And let me explain it to you. The Supreme Court, which we are expecting before July, because the Supreme Court gets all of its arguments out of the way in June, usually early June, but they had a lot this year. Usually gets them out June. July, they're done. They take a break, and then it all starts again in the fall. But the decision is coming on the mail-in ballots that they cannot come in after Election Day. Well, guess what? In California right now, there's a bunch of ballots coming in after Election Day, and California, because they do not have their certification until I think it's July 2nd. If the Supreme Court decides and issues their decision before the certification date, friends, that means the election is ongoing and can be nullified. And I could see where they either have to rerun the election or they have to get rid of all ballots brought in after Election Day. And because California put those federal elections on the ballots, that means this will apply to them. If California had separated the ballots and done state ballots and federal ballots, well, then you might have been able to make a case to keep them in, but not because they're together, you can't. So I'm telling you guys, there is a way this happens. Now, they'll play it out in court. California will fight back. But I'm telling you, this isn't over by any stretch of the imagination. Pratt is down right now. He's projected to be out. It's not over. It's not. So get ready. And here's the thing, guys. This one is one of the obvious ones. The Supreme Court, I believe, 95% is going to rule in favor of this ballot measure and eliminating the mail-in ballots. I really do. I think it's 95% going to happen. So get ready, and I'm excited. Now, it will be shocking if they don't. So all this going on, momentum building, great things happening. By the way, let's go back real quick and just see how this will impact Democrats. Okay, you guys ready? You ready for it? Elections decide on election nights. Republicans 52%. Elections decided after election night, which this will mean the Supreme Court's decision will eliminate this forever. Forever. Well, bye-bye. And now we'll have this. And this is why I tell you guys that even without the Save America Act, we are still going to clean up our elections. Not 100%, but in a way that still makes it much, much easier to keep winning. All right? Because, again, the Supreme Court ruling comes in, this goes bye-bye. And we are left with this even without all the other things the Trump administration is doing to crack down on the election stuff. So the future is very bright, friends. And the one wrench that could be thrown in this, of course, is Supreme Court fools us. But I don't think it will. I think it's going to be a 6-3 decision. Okay? I think it's going to be a 6-3 decision. And we got a lot more to do. Don't get me wrong. But it's going to... it's going to eliminate this. There'll be no more after election stuff going on if the Supreme Court rules, which is huge, absolutely massive. So all that's heading on, and then we got blowout job numbers on Friday, right? I talked about that. The economy is coming around. It's Q2, baby. Q2 heading into Q3. Exactly what I told you guys at the beginning of the year. The economy will be roaring, and we're starting to see the beginning of it. Here we go. More numbers came in this morning. Job openings at 730,000. Let's listen to Peter St. Ong a little bit. This is going to be massive for the midterms.
Job openings just jumped a massive 731,000 in a single month. That's the highest number ever outside COVID reopening. Separately, job creation jumped to an 18-month high last month. How close are we to HVAC installers going door-to-door with tranquilizer darts to capture workers? Last week, the Bureau of Labor Statistics released their so-called JOLTS report, job openings and labor turnover. Openings were up a blockbuster 731,000 on the month, bringing the total to 7.6 million jobs standing around with their hand out looking dumb. Now, 7.6 million is the highest since COVID, when millions of workers ditched work.
Do you hear that? 7.6 million job openings in the U.S. right now is the highest since COVID, when people bailed on the jobs. That is amazing, because there's no pandemic right now. Guys, there's a lot of jobs out there, and it's only increasing, which means that's the signal. Because when companies start hiring more, that's when they start paying more, because now it's competition to get good workers. And now that's the signal, because as the pay starts coming up, wages start going up, and all of a sudden, by this time next year, you have a booming economy. And it'll start turning around for the people in about 3 months. We'll start seeing the beginnings of that, where it's going to start getting easier on people. Now, this is even with gas prices high. Just wait and see. I'm telling you, it's all the headwinds are that the midterms are going to be excellent for Republicans. And California, I don't think we've seen the end of California. I still think there's a chance we get the Supreme Court decision in. This election's not over. So, pray, do whatever you can do, get the word out. But there's still a lot of hope here. And again, California might just be the silver lining that really fixes stuff for down the road. All right, guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe if you don't mind. Appreciate you checking out this segment. We got a lot more coming on the show, but we're going to take a break for a second, get into the chat. I want to address some questions and comments and super chats, all that stuff, and before we get going. But yeah, hit that like, hit that subscribe if you're liking what you see and you really want to be a part of the community. If you like this chat room that's going, that's just a bunch of great people, get into the description, click that Patreon link, and by signing up for my Patreon through that link, you will get a month for free. And you can cancel without any penalty, but it's a way to check out the Discord, see if you like it, the community in there, see if you like the members only content, which we did a big members live on Saturday. I went into the entire Q stuff, whether it's real, whether it's not, what the evidence is behind it, what I learned about it. So it was very interesting. The members loved it. It's something they asked me to do. So that was a members live, members only, on Saturday night. You guys can go check out for free if you sign up for the Patreon. Big Chungus with the $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Chungus says, pundits not knowing the difference between evidence and proof is sickening. I'm assuming they're not that dumb, just dishonest. Yeah, well, some of them are that dumb. but I do think most of them are just deflecting. Absolutely. Dan Bongino on Tucker this morning was fantastic. I got some good Tucker stuff later. I got Brian House with 2 joules. Send 100%. Thank you, Brian House, for that. Violence and Poetry says, I'm curious. Do I think Dems are really stupid, arrogant enough to try this when they know they're being watched, or is God making them dance on his strings? Oh, excellent question. I don't think they're stupid enough to do it while everybody watches. I think they're arrogant, and I also think they're desperate, because they are losing and it's starting to fall apart on them, and they're losing ground. And listen, the kind of stuff I'm sharing that nobody else is, like the video I did on the demographic changes coming up and how we have monster, and I mean monster advantages heading into the next few years, especially after 2030. I'm going to leave this up for people to see in the background as I talk. But with those monster advantages, the Democrats know it, and their consultants know it, and they don't want the people to know it because it gives them hope or it discourages their people. But they know it, and so they are going all out. It's just like in 2020. They're like, we don't care if they see it. We are going for it because we have to win these elections this year. This is our last best chance at getting control. And so because they're stuck, and because the trends are all going against them, they have to go for it. They don't have a choice. So that's why they're doing it. Katie Cat with the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Katie Cat. Everybody who just got a YouTube membership, you don't get in the Discord, but you now can go into the members' lives and watch every member's live that's here on YouTube. So thank you for that, Katie. One way to do it, guys, is to go to the community post, look at the members only posts, and get the links to the videos. All right. Let's see here. Any other tags I missed? Rafe says, I don't know if John Roberts would do that on the Supreme Court. Well, I'll tell you what, Roberts is 1 vote of 6 that most likely should vote for it and usually would. We can win it without him. We could get 5-4 with Amy Coney Barrett. I'll tell you, Amy has abandoned us on a couple things, tariffs being one of the big ones. But on the super obvious ones, she has been on the right side of history way more often than not, like 9 times out of 10. So I don't think Roberts, because it's guaranteed, and I mean guaranteed. We got Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, Alito, and Thomas. So we're guaranteed to get 4 votes on this. I think Amy Coney Barrett, there's no way she doesn't vote, or she doesn't decide on the side of eliminating the mail-in ballots. Roberts, then, in that case, doesn't matter. But I also think Roberts is going to decide on it. I think it's going to be 6-3 because it's so obvious. Let's see here. Rob says it's virtually impossible to change an election after it's happened. The time to fight fraud is before. Well, you're right, except for this election hasn't fully happened yet because it's not certified until July 2nd. So until it's certified, it's still open. Let's see here. Bev asks, in fact, are we sure the Supreme Court ruled the feds can control mail-in ballots? Should mean they could deny vote counting of mail-in ballots. It hasn't been decided yet, Bev. They're working on that one. Hermit tagged me and asked, I wonder if there's an in with the mailing system. California runs its elections, but mail ballots, what's the legality of transport? Must be USPS or using helicopters avoids feds. There's some truth to that for sure. Absolutely. However, it still doesn't avoid feds when the ballots have federal elections on them. But you're right. They're getting around the USPS executive order from Trump. So I don't know if there is legality to it. I'm sorry. Although in California, their laws are kind of designed so you can be fraudulent. So there's that. Dave says, even if Supreme Court rules, California will say the votes cast for local and state still stand. They could argue that, and that's why it's going to be litigated in court. It'll be litigated in court because they have they have the federal elections on those ballots. So let's see. Lisa says California's proof they can still steal elections. Well, yeah, in their democratic state, in the most democratic state, I should add, where the laws are insane for their elections, that it's much more difficult. I'm not saying it's ever impossible. It's much more difficult for them. Guys, listen, everybody who dooms about the elections, I got to remind you guys, okay? I always got to remind you guys that in 2024, they rigged that election against Trump. It was completely rigged. Joe Biden was in control. The Democrats had everything except the House. They were in control. Do not forget that. They had the Justice Department, they had the USPS, everything that's involved with elections. Democrats were in control of 2024, and they got their butts kicked. Only in certain states were they able to still get some House members in some shady ways. But the federal elections is so overwhelmingly red now, thanks to Trump, that he overcame the rigging of 2024. So, do you think 2026 is going to be better or worse than 2024? Better, 100% better, because there's a lot of fighting going on to oversee these elections. Do you think 2028 will be better than 2026 and 2024? Way better. You get the redistricting, you get these new Supreme Court orders in, you get more power for as Trump gets more people in position in the DOJ. Every election is less and less rigged going forward. And when they are rigged, like in California right now, it's so obvious, it's waking people up, and it's going to set in motion things, laws, Supreme Court or court rulings that will make it worse. Okay? So you got to understand, like that's what we're looking at. So yes, can they still steal elections? Yeah, but not as much as they could. I'll tell you that. It's getting harder and harder for them to do it. All right. Oh, we got a troll out. Good job, guys. Raman conceded her defeat. How's that play into this? It doesn't, because you can concede all you want and take it back. You can. Hillary did it in 2016. She took it back for a time and then she came back. And I mean, we've seen it before. Al Gore did it. He conceded and then he came back. So conceding it's not official. Conceding is not an official act. It's not it's not like a legal binding act. Okay. It's just it's a formality. So Dave Ricard says Fitton suing the states has made a big impact on voter rolls. Yep, 100% it has. Have I watched the documentary Minnesota Mao? No, I haven't. I haven't heard of that one. Sounds interesting though. All right, you guys ready? We got more to talk about. So we're going to move on to the next segment. Again, if you want to support the channel, guys, please hit the like, hit the subscribe, consider joining the membership. It's a free first month. You can click that link in the description, and all that good stuff. Or you can send super chats, whatever you want. But again, if you want to get my attention in between segments, the best way to do it is tag me, because then it highlights you, and it's a lot easier for me to see, so I can try to find it, especially when the chat is going hard. But again, super chats are guaranteed. All right. News came out on Friday, right after I did my live, of course, which is awesome. So I would have loved to talk about this on Friday. But, all right, so last week, Trump appointed Bill Pulte to take over Tulsi's spot. And D.C. is in an uproar. The deep state is pissed. They are freaking out, even Republicans. Get this guy out. Don't let him be seated. Try to fight back. We're going to hold up FISA, which all of us were like, cool, hold up FISA. We don't care about that one. But they're throwing a big old temper tantrum. They're terrified of this guy. Well, then Trump on Friday gave him the initiative. Mass firings at U.S. intelligence agencies. Yeah, so Pulte is the bull in the china shop. Bring him in and let's go to town. Now, remember, Tulsi's still in there till the 30th. So if you're like, we're not seeing much yet, well, that's because Tulsi's still in there till June 30th. She has this month to finish up her job, turn things over to Pulte, and maybe, just maybe, get a bunch of D-class out. We're going to see that, but that's a big expectations that Tulsi's going to drop some bombs between now and when she leaves, and then Pulte gets to be tough. Now here's Trump talking about Pulte, and I found this very interesting.
How long is he going to be in there?
Depends on how long it takes to get somebody approved. He'll do a very good job. He'll watch it closely, but Bill Pulte is very good. He's very talented. Done a great job at Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. The value there is close to $1 trillion. We built a value that's incredible. So he's done a very good job in that. He'll do a good job. He's watching for during this time period.
And you want to prevent the number of people working there?
I wouldn't mind. I've heard that's way too high for way too long. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. If he cut, I wouldn't mind that.
So a couple things there. Notice Trump said Pulte will stay there until we get somebody else nominated. So he's not even going to try to nominate Pulte for this. That's interesting. He's basically telling the Republican Senate, the Democrats, the deep state, that I'm just giving this guy a chance to go ham on you guys. He's going to screw stuff up. He's going to mess you up. And I'm not even trying to get him confirmed. So stop complaining. Stop acting as if I care about, your political nonsense, because I'm not playing your game. But he's going to be there until I get somebody confirmed. So settle down. They have no power over Trump for this. None at all. And ODNI is a big deal. It oversees 17 intelligence agencies, including the CIA and the FBI, NSA. What's going to come out of this time? That's the question. Pulte knows where a lot of receipts are because of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. He knows basically every mortgage in America, the vast majority of them, that is. What does he know? How's he going to connect these dots? I cannot wait to see how this plays out because, again, the deep state's very, very angry about this. Now, with all this going on with Pulte, Cash came out this weekend and said something pretty crazy about what they're accomplishing over at the FBI. And it's just a reminder that we don't get a lot of this news. I know this is on Fox News, so it's mainstream. Most people still don't hear this. What they are accomplishing right now is so massive, and it makes you understand why they're going after Cash, Blanche, the DOJ, the Trump administration, trying to label them as the protector of pedos and pedophiles and child traffickers, all that. But listen to what they're accomplishing.
How did you do this?
Well, Kaylee, as you know so well, and as you advocate so much for our youth, they're our most precious treasure. And we made it a priority to go after the villains and the terrorists and gangbangers that are targeting our kids. And what we did was we utilized intelligence-driven operations. We took 1,500 employees from the FBI in D.C. and put them in the field permanently, working with our state and local law enforcement partners. And we went after the worst of the worst. And those stats, while those stats are meaningful, and those stats are truly historic, just think about the 7,200 kids that we found that got to go home. Just think about the 3,400, actually, when you take the numbers for this year, we're at 3,400 child predators and traffickers arrested. That's up 99% from the best year Biden ever had. That means kids are being protected at levels that are simply unheard of. And that means this FBI, here's another thing. We didn't just do the physical work on the streets. We went to the cyber community and we dismantled 3 million pedophile accounts off the Tor network where these predators prey on our children and think they can hide from this FBI. They can't. We are going to the ends of the earth and the cyber realm to make sure our most precious commodity, kids, are safeguarded. And the numbers speak for themselves.
3 million accounts they've taken down. 7,200 kids saved. This is why they want to paint this picture because, guys, I'm sorry to tell you if you're late to the party, but the whole City of London cabal globalist crowd that's deep state here in America is overseeing all this. They are the pedos. They are the traffickers. It's one of their ways of making money. It's one of their ways of controlling people. It's disgusting. It's abysmal. But this is why the Biden administration allowed 380,000 kids to come over here and be disappeared. That's a real statistic, been shared by multiple government officials. That, my friends, is one of the most insane, disgusting things you'll ever hear. And that all happened under Biden's 4 years. They were bringing them all in because of the first Trump administration interrupting it, and they were making up for lost time. And now this administration is shutting it down. And what happens? You have the people on the left, the FAGA, we're the real America first, grifters, Podcastistan, all saying this is the Epstein class. There's a reason they do that. Because they're all being paid to take out this Trump administration and stop them because they are screwing up their ways of doing stuff. They're throwing the wrench in. They're actually doing it. And it's one of the most amazing things we've seen. And we have a long way to go. But what they're doing is incredible. And this is why they hate Kash Patel. And why every 3 to 6 months, we see another massive wave of attacks against him. Because he is incredibly effective and they can't handle it. Now, he's not the only thing that's been effective. DHS, the stuff going on in DHS is insane. Now, look at this fraud ring that just got busted up from H-1Bs. Now, again, I'm showing you guys all the different ways the Trump administration is cleaning up our country and exposing what's been going on, how much we've been being stolen from, how much we've been being abused. It's insane. It's disgusting. But the good news is light is the best disinfectant. When stuff gets exposed, then things happen. It has to be exposed first. And this is one of the craziest things I've seen in a while. Listen to this H-1B fraud.
The holders since 2015. Over 70% came from India and nearly 12% from China. And when you zoom in on this map you're looking at, you can see where most are being hired. The dark red spots show a high density of H-1B visa holders. And now we're learning more about the fraud within the program. One former official tells Newsweek that up to 90% of applications, 90% from India, contain fraudulent documents or involve unqualified applicants. And finance law enforcement in India claim it has uncovered a network of universities that produce fake degrees which were possibly used to obtain these high-skilled H-1B visas.
Think about this. I've seen this in India. Doctors who aren't really doctors. Tech guys who aren't really tech guys. I mean, this is crazy. And there's no regulation on their side of things. They just get over here so they can make that money and send it back. Guys, our nation was being invaded. We were, in my belief, if Trump hadn't won in 2016, it was over. Trump stopped him enough, pushed back on the policies long enough that we could survive the 4 years of Biden and get to where we're at now, where we're more awake and more stuff's getting done. But if Kamala had gotten in, guys, it was over. We were at the tipping point. We were at the tipping point of losing everything in our country. And that's why I constantly say the Trump administration is a miracle. The good news is, and I believe that there is a timing aspect here that you could say is divine, because the good news is because that tipping point, it was getting so bad, but also the people woke up so much that the Trump administration getting in right now, as long as it keeps the gas on, we don't go back. We don't go back. Because what they're doing is so incredible, and what they're able to get done is so long lasting, and America is getting more and more awakened to all this. I mean, people see this stuff. They're not going to vote for these policies again. They're not going to stand for it again. So the bullet we dodged isn't just a bullet. It was a nuclear bomb, but we dodged it. And now we get to rebuild, and it's incredible stuff. But these numbers are insane.
Including one school which allegedly stole over 36,000 fake degrees, sold, I should say. It cost as little as $1,400 for one of those. And while these are supposed to be high-skilled employees, during almost all of Biden's time in office, 83% got junior or entry-level positions. And now Texas is taking action, cracking down on those abusing the program.
I've heard from friends in the Austin area. You guys know Austin was booming, okay? It's booming the last few years, and a lot of it was because of all the H-1B, the Indians coming in. Well, now rent in Austin is down like 25% because they've all been going home. That boom is over, and it's incredible to see, but Texas was one of the main places for it. I can't tell you when in certain businesses, when I was working in that area, how many of them I came across. It was wild. It was absolutely wild. But this is insane. 36,000 fake degrees. And then we're supposed to be like, oh, the H-1Bs. This is the argument Elon Musk made and that Vivek made, which they were absolutely wrong about. But we need them for these high-level wage jobs. Americans can't do these high-skilled jobs. Well, they were actually taking our low-skilled jobs. It's just a big wake-up call for everybody paying attention right now. Just crazy. Now, one of the ways they're fighting back is we're starting a new program to denaturalize U.S. citizens. Here's one of the latest on this.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And that's one of the angles that we're looking at is the people who committed immigration fraud against our system, and how do we denaturalize those people and send them back to where they came from. There's also, as you know, Will, under the Biden administration, there was a big blurring of the lines between illegal and legal immigration. The Biden administration would often take people who were coming in on fraudulent asylum claims, fraudulent refugee claims, and basically wave the magic wand of amnesty and say, we're not going to enforce the immigration laws against those people. people. The first thing, and maybe the most important thing that we did in the Trump administration, is that we stopped that from happening. But then you still have a lot of people who benefited from that Biden administration amnesty program. We're trying to unwind as much of that as possible. We've already had some success, by the way, Will, despite the fact that left-wing radicals in the justice system, the court system, have tried to stop us. We have been able to denaturalize and actually unwind that temporary protected status, a lot of those fraudulent asylum claims. So that work has been happening, but it's going to keep on happening so long as Donald Trump is president. I think Minneapolis...
Denaturalization is not something we've seen a lot of in our history. It just doesn't happen very often. The Trump administration right now is on pace to denaturalize more than any other administration in modern history. That, my friends, is a big deal. And it also tells you they're willing to do the real work. None of this is a game. None of this, like, they're doing the real stuff. See, I hear this all the time, okay? Like, people get mad. We're not deporting enough. Trump lied to us. They don't understand. Oh, my favorite, Obama deported more than Trump. Well, it's absolutely not true. It's a total lie. See, the Obama administration, in order to make Obama look good, every single person who came to the border, at the border, that was turned away, no, you can't come over here, they marked it as a deportation. That's what they did. They marked it as a deportation, and that bumped up his numbers. Obama barely deported anybody who was already here. That's a fact. And what Trump administration is doing between self-deportations and deportations, already gotten rid of 4 million, and that's before the ramp up in ICE, which is happening right now, and all these other legal aspects are coming at them from to make it much harder to stay here. Debanking them, taxing anything they send overseas at massive rates. They're making it harder and harder to stay here, forcing E-Verify on businesses, rating business owners who employ them. It's going to be taking away all their welfare benefits. They're taking away all the incentives to come here illegally. And that's going to make the self-deportations ramp up. And then denaturalization. It's like in the past, if you were already in, if they already said you're official, we'll naturalize you, nobody went backwards and undid that unless they're like a crazy criminal. The Trump administration is willing to go where others want it. And Homan just continues to be a stud on all this. This is in regards to in New Jersey, where they're talking about shutting down one of the ICE facilities.
But again, I went to the facility. I stand by the facility. Again, it's not a Hilton. This is not a Grand Hilton. It's a detention center. And I've been in a lot of jails, and I've been in 2 state prisons. I wish they would go to their own state prison, look at that, then come to the Delaney Hall, get something to compare it to. Because I think they'll understand that detention is not a luxury. Detention, and they say they want to shut down the facility, they want us to release detainees. You know, when I looked at the files, you know, a lot of people in that facility are mandatory detention by federal statute. We couldn't release them if we wanted to, because there's certain people, whether they're expedited removals, whether it's certain criminal, whether they're final order cases, by law, we have to detain them. And here's what they're not talking about. You want to shut down the facility? Then every illegal alien we arrest in that state will fly to Texas, we'll fly to Arizona, detain them there. Because we're going to keep arresting people, we're going to keep detaining people, we're going to keep removing people. If I can't detain them in that city where they're close to their families, then we'll have to move them someplace else. How does that benefit the migrant community? I mean, you're not going to shut down ICE enforcement. You're certainly not going to abolish ICE, and you're not going to stop us from doing our job. President Trump's in the Oval Office. He's there mainly because of what the Biden administration did to the border. Where were all these congressional representatives and politicians in 4 years open border? How come they didn't take Secretary Mayorkas on? How come they didn't take the Biden administration on for opening border? Over 10 million people flow to our border. Many criminals, many sex offenders, 2.1 million gotaways. Where do they come from? Who are they? How many of them are terrorists? How many of them are criminals? They didn't say a word about what happened in the last 4 years. And the reason ICE is out there arresting people right now because we're responding to historic illegal immigration crisis that they made, that they created on purpose. So a massive historic illegal alien crisis, how to respond to that? To massive deportation, because most of these people should have never been released in the country. And Mr.
Homan is awesome. Like, I'm sorry, but he is the man. And He's just doing such a good job. But everything he said is so important. See, they are funding now ICE and CBP, Border Patrol, just got through, funded through 2029 by the Senate. So it's federal law. Just like Holman said, we don't have a choice in this. It's the law. We're just going to follow it. So if they close it down, we'll ship them off. He's just going to make the liberals look more awful. He said, you want them away from their families? Okay. You're forcing us to do it, but we don't want to. But that's what we're going to do. So the messaging, Trump has got the best people on this, all this stuff. It's incredible to see. And he's very clear. We're not slowing down. We're undoing what's been done. And so people can gripe at me all they want. People can like moan and wail. People like, one of the hardest things to communicate in what I do. And it's one of the main reasons I do my show, because there is such a fantasy that exists in many people's heads about what happens when you elect somebody, when you get a new government in. People seem to think that Trump was going to come in on January 20th, 2025, snap his fingers, and in 3 days, the country would be fixed because that's what I voted for. And they waited 3 days, and then they got mad. Oh, he didn't do it all. He lied. He hasn't fulfilled every single promise ever. Guys, we live in a system, a legal system of politics, of processes. It takes time. It takes funding. You have to go through different channels. You have to get it through the House and the Senate and then sign it. You have to make sure it holds up under legal scrutiny. You have to fight the states sometimes who don't want to play along. You get a say. That's America. And it's a slow-moving system often, but it's the best system ever created because it protects us. And it's what protected us and slowed down President Obama, President Biden. It's what slowed down their administrations from completely turning us into communism. It's why they had to backroom all this stuff. It's why they had to bring in illegals, and they found all the ways they could do stuff behind the scenes and slowly erode at us and chip away, but they couldn't get there overnight. And that's the same reason Trump can't fix it overnight. It's a good thing ultimately, but it's hard. It's disappointing. But what we have to do is pay attention to what they're doing every day. What is the progress being made? And I see somebody like Holman, and I see somebody who's been doing this for 30 plus years, who won't stop, especially when empowered. And it's incredible to watch. But for everybody saying stuff's not happening, I don't know what to tell you. The deep state is being fought back. The globalists are being ruined. Everything they fought for is being undone. I mean, case in point, look at the UN right now. Trump, United Nations reform envoy, Jeff Bartos announces $570 million slash from the UN budget and 2,900 positions eliminated. This is the deep state's being cut back. I mean, this is City of London's like main way of being diplomatic throughout the world and trying to control, even though it's soft power, it's to control other nations through the UN, through the EU. This is what they do. They create these organizations and they tie you up through international law, which is so stupid. But it's all being rolled back. This is a signal. $570 million. That's a lot of money for the UN. 2,900 positions. They're cutting it all back. This is the signal. Stuff like this you pay attention to, because it's not so much this changes stuff for us overnight, but when was the last time you guys saw the UN getting smaller? Last time you saw that getting rolled back? It just doesn't happen. And on top of that, now Trump is starting to fight more for justice and retooling what happened on January 6th. Here's back to Kristen Welker, his interview with her. But here's Trump revealing just how the coup happened on Jan 6th. And the thing is, he's not backing down. This is great stuff.
They had FBI agents ushering them into the building. They had FBI go into the building. Those people walking around there looking, oh, isn't this nice? They weren't in. They were being ushered into the building.
There's no evidence.
You had a bunch of dirty cops, and frankly, what they did was weaponization of our government.
But sir, there's no evidence of that. More than 1,000 people.
No, there's none. You know what you do? Try looking at the tapes one time.
Would you take it off
Look
the
at
table?
the tapes
Okay,
one time.
but 172 people did plead guilty to assaulting police officers.
You know why they pled
Should
guilty?
they be exempt?
Because they told they
from
were going to
receiving
jail
funds?
for 15 years if they didn't.
Should they?
They pled guilty because they were frightened. They went down. They were ushered into a building. Many of them were arrested without even going in.
For everybody who's like, Trump's the deep state, he's one of them, he's on their side, do you understand that there is almost nothing political for him to gain from this? He could have completely left January 6th in the past. He could have said, it was a mistake, we went a little too hard. And he could have put it in the past and betrayed so many people. He could have betrayed our trust on the aspect. This guy is fighting this stuff over and over again to the media's face when he has nothing to gain from it politically. Definitely not. He's not like he's getting any deep staters on his side doing stuff like this. It's complete exposure. And he continues to hammer down on it. This to me, guys, is more and more is like I don't understand. I think anybody who thinks Trump is deep state or ever thinks that Trump is one of them and trying to usher in the technocracy, I think they're morons. I think they're absolute idiots, because if you understand politics, you understand everything that has to be done. You understand him as a leader and the traditions in our country and the way people have been advancing that. This is the opposite of it. It's the exact opposite of it. You don't gain anything by doing this. Unless you're doing it just because it's what's right. That's it. And so it's like, if you're on that side, if you believe Trump's going to be the one who ushers in CBDCs and he's actually working for them behind the scenes, like, you're an idiot. I'm sorry, you just are. And like, sorry if that's mean, but there's no other way to frame it. I don't have a nice way to frame it, because you have to be kind of retarded to believe that. I mean, when you see like stuff like this, you just have to be a special kind of stupid to actually think this guy's on that side. I'm sorry. Like, this is the kind of proof of that.
Be okay with them receiving taxpayer dollars?
The people were destroyed by dirty cops and by weaponization. Many of those people should be compensated. Now, with that being said, as I understand it, the weaponization fund was going to set up a group of people, people that could be picked by anybody, fair people, smart people, and they will go on an individual case basis.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what's going to happen with the weaponization fund. I love the idea because people like you, the fake, dirty press, the crooked press, people like stupid Biden, he's not smart enough to know what's going on, but people that surrounded his beautiful, resolute desk in the Oval Office, what they did to the lives of people, they destroyed people. They sent people to jail who did nothing wrong.
All right, just to be very clear, there's no evidence of what...
No evidence. There's no evidence. There's no evidence. Well, here's the evidence. Here's people being walked in by the cops on Jan 6. I'll cut the music so I don't get in. But the cops standing to the side. Oh, here they come. Come on in. See our Capitol. It's beautiful. You'll love it. It's amazing. Come on in. No evidence. These people are insane. We're not stupid, but they continue to think we are stupid. And thanks to X, especially, but also thanks to all the other people who did work in other places and got it out there, we now can overcome every little thing they say, every little lie they tell. It's so easy to do. And it's also, I mean, like I said, the people who still say, like I just addressed, people say Trump's deep state, blah, blah, blah. The problem is, guys, is now there's way more evidence out there than ever before for both sides. You can make all the arguments, but it's just too obvious. We can break it all down because what we see. I mean, it's just, that's how it works. That's how it works. Now, the Trump evidence, or the Trump administration, has been messaging to us a lot right now. Now, no panicins. This is kind of funny. It's like a double message. A, Trump's a Knicks fan, and the Knicks are probably going to win the NBA Finals, which Isn't that interesting timing wise? I gotta say. But keep doubting, keep watching, no panicins. And then they put this out on Friday night. Patriots in control. Where have we heard that before? That's interesting. What would the White House gain from repeating Q stuff? What do they gain from that? Because all it does is everybody in the mushy middle, everybody on the left, all the media is just going to say, "Oh, that's crazy." But then, and then there's a bunch of people, even in MAGA, who are just like, "Well, that's kind of weird, but okay, cool. Patriots in control." And then there's like the Q people who are like, "Oh, we see that," but it doesn't gain anything, does it? In fact, if anything, it might turn some people off, unless they're messaging it for a reason. And it says here, patriotic summer. I think we're in for a hot summer, and I don't think it's just because there's going to be Summer of Love riots. I think what Tulsi's about to drop, what's going on in the elections, all of that leading up to the midterms, the economy heating up, the Iran stuff, which is probably going to end in the next couple weeks, or at least month or so. I don't think it's going to carry on that much longer. You get a red hot summer, patriotic summer. It's just interesting messaging. That's all I'm going to say. But then Dan Scavino, the social media guru for Trump, put this out. Also, this was Saturday night. Is he a wolf among sheep? Stay in the shadows until it's time. That's pretty interesting. So, who knows? I'm just saying, like, there seems to be a lot of messaging coming out from the White House team, those most trusted to Trump, that we're about to see some stuff. And when you see all the pawns lined up, all the chess pieces where they're lining up, I mean, it definitely looks like something big is about to come over the next few weeks. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited about this summer. I really am. And I'll do my best to cover it all as we go. All right. Please hit that like, that subscribe, guys. Appreciate you. Let me get into the chat, catch up. We still got more to come, including a grifter report and the latest in Iran and in the geopolitics involving Trump. Let me get to, I did get a $5 super chat from Mr. Bedhead. Says Chinese CCP troll farms. Was there a troll in here? Is that what you were talking about? Man, the troll farms are crazy. Bot farms. And a lot of them are from like Pakistan, Afghanistan. The Indians, they love them, man. They love them. But yeah, they're all over the place. It's very interesting. I get them on here all the time, especially whenever I'm over the target. They love to jump in. Let's see. Anybody tag me on anything? Unfortunately, my chat won't let me go back too far. Guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Thank you very much. And if you're enjoying the show and you want to think about becoming a member and supporting the show, please, if you're on X, you can go to the pinned post on my profile. If you're on Rumble or here on YouTube, you can go into the description, click the link to Patreon, get a free month once you sign up, a month to check it out, become a part of the community, find out why it's so awesome, and check out all the members' lives as well. Let's see here. Lots of conversation going on. Let's see if I can find where anybody tagged me so I don't miss what they're asking. Not seeing much. If I missed it, guys, the chat, it only allows me to go back so far. So user asks, what do I think about the merger of the U.S. and Israel military? Some are talking about, I haven't had a lot of time to go into it. It was just what I do know is there's something the Senate passed, but as far as I know, it hasn't passed the House and Trump hasn't signed anything for it yet. So I kind of think it might be a little bit fake news. We'll see. I have a feeling it's going to get a lot louder if it's actually going to become close to becoming any kind of law. Castellum says, what do I make of the faggot crowd and others being pro-Russia lately? Oh yeah, great question. Well, everything they do is a psyop. Everything. And they always have their reasons for it, okay? Whether they were pretending to support Trump and then they turned against him, whether they're pushing the it's the Jews behind everything, AIPAC behind everything. So everything they do is coordinated and has a purpose for it. The fact that it's all happening at once tells you it's not organic and it's not legitimate. All right? And so when it's not organic and it's not legitimate, you have to ask, well, why is it happening? To me, the exposure has been ramping up, right? We're getting to the point where more and more people are waking up. People are seeing Europe, NATO, EU, how they've been robbing us, and we're breaking out of that. A lot of people are waking up to the whole City of London system and MI6 and what it's had to do. How people are waking up to Candace, her husband, his ties to MI6 through his father. People are waking up to Tucker and Alex Jones, their CIA connections, all that. So what's the best thing you can do when all this is going on? Because you're already finding out these people are fraudulent. These people are lying to us. Okay, well then let's try to make it obvious that we're lying from something else. We got to deflect here. We got to bring something else in. How about people always hate Russia? People are scared of Russia. People believe Russia's Soviet Union trying to come back, Putin. So let's just make it all about Russia. So Candace goes over there, does this tour. Scott Ritter's over there. They're all talking up Dugin. Who Dugin, his ideas are much more like City of London type propaganda than they are Russian propaganda. So, you kind of do the math. Everybody's like, he's Putin's brain. Well, there's actually no evidence of him ever consulting for Putin. People just say that. In fact, Putin has done several things that are against what Dugin would advocate for. So, I don't see the connection there, but I do see how it's an obvious psyop. The question is why? And I think personally that they're just deflecting. They're trying to get attention back on Russia, move people over to that so that they don't look at where the real foreign influence is. Tucker getting his money through Qatar and shadow banking that can be linked to the City of London system, stuff like that. No. Look over here. Look at Russia. That's what I think. That's what I think is going on. Did I see MTG's hooves? No, I did not. I missed that one. MTG has 3 toes per foot. Now this is crazy. I did not see us going in that direction. Let's see. Anybody else hit me up? It doesn't look. Thoughts on build up at Gitmo? Well, a couple things could be going on. A, we're really getting ready to ramp up against Cuba, so there could be reasons to ramp up Gitmo for that. The other thing is like if we're trying to do military tribunals or military courts because they can't trust the DC courts and all this to do the right thing with if there are traitors going to prison or getting arrested, you can move them to Gitmo. That's the I see one of those two things happening. Maybe both. All right. Anybody else? I don't think so right now. Again, hit me up again, guys, if you have some for me. And we're going to move on to the Grifter Report, since we're talking about it right now. Okay. We got Big Trouble in Fagaland. The true America Firsters. Looks like they've gone a little too far in how obvious they're being, and now things are starting to ramp up. This started with Hassan Piker a couple weeks ago going to Cuba and then becoming out there that he's being investigated over it. Well, it seems like it's continuing forward. Now, Laura Loomer is reporting this. Laura's not always 100% right in her reporting. However, she often is right. President Trump seems to trust her, like her, shouts her out all the time. So I think a lot of times her sources, again, you don't have to trust them, but you always got to take what she posts seriously, at least at first. And she writes, "Trust me when I tell you Podcastistan is being investigated by the FBI and DOJ. They're too arrogant to realize it. I'm looking forward to the 5 a.m. raids and FARA charges headed towards the woke Reich. These operatives will be exposed and held accountable. It's inevitable. Do I 100% believe this is going to happen? No, I don't. Do I 100% believe they're being looked at? Yes, I do. Because when you see, based on the Trump's track record of going after, suing the media, the track record, what they do with the FAA, and how they're like going after broadcasting licenses, stuff like that, over fair use, and all these laws that are just not obeyed anymore. I absolutely believe Trump. He wants to control the media sphere, and I don't mean control it as in tell them what to say. He wants to control it as in clean it up and make them live by the laws we already have on the books. And if there's any foreign influence at all, they're going to want to know it and look it up, because you can take out bad actors by actually just using the laws on the books. It's nothing against First Amendment, freedom of the press, but is it freedom of the press if you're being paid to say something on behalf of other countries or systems? Absolutely not. So do I believe this is happening? Yes, I do. And that's why I'm reporting it, because this is one of those things Laura's reporting that makes 100% sense. And I do believe they're looking at it, because we got all kinds of crazy stuff been happening. Tucker changed on a dime once we went to Iran, and he's got Qatar funding, which goes back to 2023 when he started his whole new thing. We have all kinds of associations going on with Alex Jones, Megyn Kelly. You got Candace Owens over in Russia right now. She's married to a son of a House of Lords member. I mean, there's foreign government written on all these guys in one way, shape, or form. You at least need to look. And so, yeah, I do believe it's starting to happen. And Candace keeps writing stuff that kind of makes you think that she's afraid of it. And I'm not the only one. But here's one of the latest posts from Candace. My takeaway from Russia: literally everything's fake and gay. They're lying about everything at every hour, every single day. Overreaction. She's talking about people in response to her going to Russia. The overreaction to me merely traveling to Moscow is precisely because they know I am not funded by any foreign nation or state. This isn't funny how she wrote this. Caps, not funded any foreign nation or state. Okay. I mean, technically, your marriage to your husband's a FARA violation, because he's worth $250 million and he's British. So in a way, you are funded by a foreign nation. Let's just be honest. Nor am I inherently capable of being controlled. Okay, Candace. I've been investigated by everyone from the literal president of France. Okay, what kind of investigation powers does a president of France have over a U.S. citizen? Real question. Not much. This is total deflection. It's like it doesn't even make sense. Who admitted to hiring former feds to look into my potential foreign ties? To the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs, laying out a plan their Farah docs to smear me as part of their propaganda to win back support for Israel. Okay. They have nothing on me other than, she's demonic. Plus repeat demands to sue her for refusing to bend the knee to the satanic agenda. I'm telling the truth about Russia because I'm genuinely shocked by how absolutely upside down the narrative about it is. Beyond obvious to me now which way the economic wind is blowing. Obvious to her. With all the job numbers and stuff coming out, it's obvious which way the economic winds are blowing. Huh, Candace? I mean, to me, this is a panic post. This is the kind of thing you say to deflect, and it's also very much Candace. Candace is always just throwing stuff out there, seeing where it goes, trying to throw people off her scent. I mean, if you don't believe me, you can see how she does it, like right here. This is how she does narratives. And this is about her lying about Charlie and how he appointed Erica Kirk to be successor, which she sees has never happened. Listen to this. This is a great example of how Candace plays the game.
I figure out who's at this donor retreat in Aspen, and I reach out, and then they alleged that this was a question that somebody had asked and said, what happens if you die? Very small group, exclusive group of donors in Aspen in August. And thus far, 2 do not remember Charlie saying that. And also update to what I said to Barron yesterday. Another donor who was at the Aspen event does remember, actually says that they do remember Charlie mentioning Erica. If, situation, something happened, that Erica would know what to do. So that seems to check out. The donor, I think, is
the very next day she goes back on her own reporting.
Very good person, and obviously doesn't want to be on record. but, different. I brought it up yesterday about whether or not that actually happened in Aspen, and there is a donor that does specifically remember that. So I set about, just sort of after I met with her, reaching out to people that attended that event. And I spoke to a total of 4 people, and I can tell you that 3 out of the 4 people, and one was a couple, did not remember Charlie saying this. They did not remember
saying it
Charlie
again.
Kirk saying this.
Let's
and
go
the
backwards.
4th person, or rather couple, who said that they did remember it, and without giving you guys alluding to any further details, they would be considered a conflicted witness because they have ties to Turning Point outside of a donor relationship. Now, before we went on break, we had informed you that I had been sort of quietly prodding the narrative for months that Charlie, a mere weeks before his untimely death, literally weeks before, that Charlie declared that he wanted to appoint Erica as the CEO and the chairman of his company. And I guess I hadn't appreciated that we had never said that happened in Aspen, at the Aspen event in Aspen. Most people were assuming that happened in the Hamptons. It did not happen in the Hamptons. It happened in Aspen. So after my episode...
She's so fraudulent. It's unbelievable. So you can never trust what comes out of this woman's mouth. I mean, at all. It's just crazy. And here's Erica the other night at a TPUSA event actually showing how full of crap Candace is.
The most important relationship in your life is the one that you have with your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. His passion was my passion, and now his mission is my mission.
Oh, wait, here's Charlie. Here's Charlie that nobody remembers him doing this.
I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me.
Oh.
Erica would do a great job.
Oh, wait, what? What, Candace? What happened? I thought it was conflicting witnesses.
I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erica would do a great job.
Oh, man. So, again, you just can't trust anything Candace says. So when she's like, I'm not funded by foreigners, the truth is if we should always be playing opposite day with Candace. If Candace says something, you believe the opposite. That's like, you're going to get a lot closer to the truth if you just do that all the time. Now, as these fair things ramp up, well, there's a good reason for it. Okay, there's a really good reason for it. And one of the reasons is some of these people are already admitting they get paid by foreigners. Here's Mike Flynn, who is officially a foreign agent in the Republic of Srpska, headed by Milorad Dodik, who is Putin's most vocal ally in the Balkans. This is on FARA.gov registration doc. According to the document, Mike Flynn, General Flynn, is being paid $100,000 a month for consulting. $100,000 a month. That's a good gig. That's $1.2 million a year. Sign me up. Can we sign it up somewhere? And you see the documents right here. It's all, at least he's doing it legally, I guess, because he there's $100,000 a month. At least he's open about it. He registered, but man, that's a lot of money. I don't know how you trust somebody doing that, but describe in detail what's he getting paid for? Strategic advice and counsel, analysis and information research, and introduction in the Balkans. Wow. Pretty crazy, I gotta say. He registered this in October. You see down here, October 12th, 2025, Michael Flynn. So that's awesome. But like I said, at least this is, legal. He did the legal way. I don't think you should trust. It makes a big damper on whether or not I can trust Mike Flynn. Now, I will say, there's a lot of stuff Scott McMahon shares that I don't love. He does a lot of research, and he's a big rushes behind everything guy. So I really don't trust him because some of his stuff just doesn't check out. But those are the documents. And he's not the only one who's reported this. So I gotta say that's pretty wild. But again, if Flynn is getting this money, I don't think he's the only one. I really don't. And these people just are getting more and more egregious, okay? The stuff they're pushing right now, like this Hunter Biden thing, this is crazy. So on Friday, Thomas Massey the bastion of truth and principles in America. He got one of the best endorsements you could ever ask for. He got the endorsement of Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden says Thomas Massie is the best. I love that guy and probably disagree with at least half of his political positions, but he has so much integrity, and I know he loves this country. That's good stuff right there, right? Hunter Biden endorsing Thomas Massie. So now we got Cenk Uygur endorsing Massie, Anna Kasparian all on the left. I mean, they just love them some Thomas Massie. The leftists, funded by the same people as the Squad. I mean, once you see it, you can't see it, guys. Hunter Biden was just with Candace being buddy-buddy. He was on Sean Ryan's show being buddy-buddy. Why are they trying to bring Hunter Biden back so much? That's what I don't understand. Because to me, it's like the ultimate IQ test. Do you think Hunter Biden's a bad dude? Yes or no? If the answer you say is no, then I officially know I can't trust your opinion on pretty much anything. This guy is, we have the receipts. This is one of the worst people. You could say it's because he's broken, abused, whatever. I don't care. The fact is he's an adult who made a bunch of terrible decisions, and now the fact that he's on this redemption tour without having done anything to earn it is very suspect. Why are all these people pushing it? I mean, we have people like Ian Miles Chung, who most of you probably haven't heard of, but I got to tell you, Ian's huge on X, 1.2 million followers. This is a guy who's often been accused of stealing other people's content, who has long been known as a grifter, but he's in that America First crowd. He's with all of them, the Dave Smith, the Tucker Carlsons, Marjorie Taylor Greens. He's with that crowd. He's a big influencer on that side of things. And now he's pushing it out as well. Believe it or not, Hunter Biden's far more human and likable than anyone could have imagined. It's easy to picture some of his out of his mind nepo baby when stolen videos of a man his worst hours are your only exposure of him. Interesting. It's crazy to me. But the fact that Ian is pushing it. By the way, this guy he either lives in Indonesia or the Philippines, and all he does is talk about MAGA stuff. Like he's legitimate. Talk about FARA violation, but he's just foreign in general. But anyways, the point is, if he is spreading it, they're really pushing this. Every single influencer who's paid, who has shady ties, is pushing the Hunter Biden thing. Why? What are they trying to do? Are they this would be wild. I don't think there's any way this happens, but is it possible? They're trying to make like a Hunter Biden push for 2028. Is this the Democrats' dark horse? Is this how desperate they've become? Are the globalists in that bad of a place? I don't know. It's pretty crazy, but it's also insane. It's also insane. And with all this going on, I'm very appreciative that Dan Bongino has joined the club of calling out the fake podcast. And I gotta say, it's becoming like a badge of honor. Now, I wasn't the first, but I was close to the first calling all these people out and having a lot more fun doing it. But now it's so obvious. We're getting some big people going after the other ones. And I think there's a reason for that. I think they've bided their time until it was completely obvious and it wouldn't hurt their audiences. Or in Bongino's case, maybe he knows some investigations that are ongoing and he's kind of like getting his people ready by having fun with this. But here's a great compilation Bongino put together of Tucker Carlson just completely canceling out his own opinions over and over again. This is pretty hilarious.
My view is you can kind of tell who's telling the truth. You can smell it.
You know, you've been talking on your show about whether Trump is the Antichrist.
I have not said that.
On your show, you said, could this be the Antichrist?
I actually did not say, could this be the Antichrist?
Could this be the Antichrist?
I don't know where that comes from, but I know that those words never left my lips.
Raised some eyebrows this week when you said that Hamas is more like a political organization than a terror group.
Hamas is
group of jihadis. They're Islamic extremists, which they also claim constantly, which I don't know if that's true, by the way. It seems more like a political organization.
I didn't say that.
The future that I imagine is not a future in which we're yelling at each other about race. It's a future in which people are legitimately revolutionary, maybe even violent.
You said in our previous interview, the future that I imagine is not a future in which we're yelling at each other about race. It's a future in which people are legitimately revolutionary, maybe even violent.
I'm amazed that you have a tape of me saying that, and I just want to disavow it. A lot of young men in America, mostly white, but not exclusively, listen to Nick Fuentes really carefully. This kid is the single most influential figure among young white men, and not just white, actually.
Is that true?
Well, it's definitely true. Of course, half the thing was about Fuentes, and who cares? Fuentes?
There was a lot of Fuentes.
Who cares about Fuentes? Talk about irrelevant.
America's supporting Israel because it's an ally.
I don't even know what those words mean. I'm just saying my principle
they're
is
an ally, right? I mean, they both.
I don't know what that means to be an ally. Qatar is like one of our closest allies in the world. The largest American air base in the Middle East is in Qatar. They're a close ally of ours. I come to Israel and the infrastructure, we were flying in, and I said to my buddy, I was like, man, first of all, it looks great. I love the agriculture in Israel because it's just beautiful. I love green. I love plants.
I remember when it didn't look like that.
That's unbelievable.
First time I came here 53 years ago.
It's great. Israel, which is one of the single ugliest countries in the world.
That's
Nothing
the craziest thing, man.
1948. So
He literally doesn't believe anything he says. Everything is a lie. It's just like Candace. These people are crazy. It's obvious these people are up for the highest bidder. I mean, this is insane.
I've been everywhere in that country, and it's true. Let me get to the nub of the question, since, again, a lot is at stake. A lot of money is at stake. Land is very valuable. Israel has a lot of resources. We have a huge country. This is a country the size of New Jersey with no resources.
An attack on Western civilization looks like this. It's tribalism. It's identity politics. It's DEI. It's whatever. It's Zionism. It's any belief system that begins with the understanding that one group is morally superior to other groups.
Well, just on principle, like every other group in the world has the right to its own homeland except white people? Like what? JD has been subject to, this is well known, but I'll just confirm it, nonstop treachery.
You're accusing people of treachery, so I'm wondering, who do you mean specifically?
I don't know the answer to that. I've never worked there. So, like, if you don't work there, you can say, you can say what you think you know, but it's hard to really know.
If I always tell my kids, if you think someone's lying to you, you're right.
What an amazing ending. So good. Listen, what's so crazy about all this, guys, is that, if you tell the truth and are consistent in your belief systems, this will never happen to you. Like, I don't think anybody could put a clip. I've done this for 3.5 years. I don't think you could put together a clip show of this for me. I don't know. You people have been watching me for 3 years. You tell me. But, but this was all in the last year and a half. This is crazy stuff. I don't understand how people still don't see it. Now, most of this has happened since March when we had struck Iran. And again, it takes me back to just saying, this is all assets deployed time. This is why all the influencers turned at the same time, because to me, they're obviously connected in some way, shape, or form to the narrative creators, the narrative pushers in the City of London globalist system. Because Iran is hurting all those people. That's why NATO hasn't joined us, why UK is held out for the first time in 100 years on joining us in war. And you see these people all turning at the same time. It's crazy. As somebody who does this and speaks a lot, I actually do more content than Tucker does. I do this 2.5 hours a day, 5 days a week, plus bonus stuff sometimes. That's, what is that? 10? That's like 12 to 15 hours of content a week I do. And, it's not easy. And so to stay, like, if I was inconsistent, if I was jumping wherever the wind blew, you guys could spot it pretty quick, because you can't stay consistent over that time. Look, even Tucker, who's a master at this, who gets paid for this, Candace Owens, who gets paid for this stuff, makes great money doing it, deceiving or trying to deceive millions of people. They can't stay consistent. They can't. When you're in front of the camera all the time, if you're lying, you will get caught. And we're seeing it over and over again now. It's so unbelievably obvious. And so thanks to Dan Bogino for posting this. It's very funny. But again, guys, these people are in trouble. And now that we're all seeing them, it takes me all the way back to this. Like, I truly believe like this is actually happening, these investigations. And this is another reason why we're seeing them panic a little more. Remember, going back to the first week of March, Tucker got outed as getting calls from the CIA because he was talking to Iranians before the attacks. So, bad news for them. And I really hope this is happening. I believe it is. And I really hope we start getting some more answers soon, because it's getting crazier out there. And one of the biggest, most awesome wake-up calls to the whole America First grift, the whole like FAGA grift that's going on in Podcastistan, would be exposure on this kind of level. And so I'm looking forward to and praying that it comes forth, because I can't stand these people. At one point, I listened to all of them in my waking up journey. I really liked Tucker for a couple of years. And like, I still maintain he did a lot of great work during the Biden years and leading up to the election of Trump. But man, when somebody like this just betrays you like that, it's, I'm like, you know what? I'm never going back. And I hope you guys get destroyed. So we'll see what happens, but I'm hopeful and expectant. But one way or the other, there's just no way this stuff keeps going out there that they're ever going to maintain the influence they had before. That's a win right there. All right. Please hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're going to get into the latest in world events, especially regarding Iran. And a little bit on Ukraine and stuff as well. So, still got more to come, but let me take a break and get into the chat. I did see a super chat come in. I want to make sure I get to that. Tricky Vicky with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Vicky. Says, face it, Hunter Biden is a Democrat politician material, groomed by his dad for politics like Joe, and as reputable as most of the Dems are. I mean, yes and no. I agree with you that he has the skills. Like, he'll talk in front of people and lie with the best of them. I disagree that he, I just think his laptop is too hard to overcome, especially in the environment now where we're able to share information much more easily and get that stuff out there. I mean, look what's going on with Graham Plattner. And like Hunter's stuff's even worse. So I don't know if I don't know what the play is here, but it is interesting, and we'll see. I mean, if they're bold enough to try to run him for office, good Lord, that would be crazy. But Democrats are crazy, so there's always that. All right, let me get in. Violence of Poetry says, "What, you don't like Ian Miles Chungus?" I do not. Love it. Oh, we got another troll that got busted. Good job, mods. Good job kicking him out. Trolls, man. It's like, why? Why do you even try? Why do you even try? What do you hope to accomplish? It's crazy. People coming in here just trying to blow up my chat. Insane. Let's see. Any other tags here? Any other big questions, comments? J-Man Truth Seeker says, I believe he's one of us, a double agent. No other way he could be so dumb than doing it on purpose. Who are you talking about there? Are you talking about Tucker? Hermit says, if you don't understand how controlled opposition AstroTurf campaigns created the phony French Revolution, you need to look at the podcasters of today. That's an interesting point. I never would have thought of comparing them because of the difference in media, but you're right. There is some truth to that. Kim Trump says Bongino has been calling him out because he went back to his podcast. I believe his first one back. Well, he wasn't calling him out by name. His first one, he was just saying the Doomers and the Black Pillars. But you're right about that. I remember when he first came back, I did a whole show on it. Well, I guarantee you, Bongino saw interesting stuff when he was in FBI. Helping him clean it up in there. Let's see here. Drums. Yeah, the drums are funny. American Fire with no contradictions, Ace. I hope I haven't contradicted myself. You know, I've done a lot of content in the last 3 years. If I have, I'm pretty sure you guys would call me on it, but I don't think I have. Unfollowed Ryan as soon as he previewed his interview with the crackhead. Sean Ryan, man, talk about a guy falling off a cliff right now. It's just getting more and more obvious with him. Trying to ruin podcasting because MSM's crashing. Well, that's exactly right. Once the mainstream media got outed and everybody turned against them and stopped trusting them, they did. They ran a bunch of people into the podcast sphere, gave them a bunch of funding, and set them up to succeed. And then they grifted their way in to the audience. Now, the difference is, and I don't like on Fox News, right? We all know, like, you can't really trust Fox News. It's run by, Rupert Murdoch hates Trump. The people behind Fox News hate Trump. They're establishment Republican types. And, but they have to play the game, because if they lose MAGA viewers, they lose their viewers. The vast majority of Republicans now are MAGA and love Trump, like love him. And that's proven time and time again in the polls, like where his, and in the primaries. I mean, Trump, the Republican Party is Trump's, and Fox News built their brand on being the Republican Party's channel. So they can't turn on Trump completely. So they can, they seed little narratives in. And then they have some people who are legitimately MAGA on the channel. Greg Gutfeld, Jesse Waters. These guys are legit. And so they do great work. So Fox has kind of toned this line, but Fox is smart. And you see the discipline of Fox News versus the guys who went solo. So the same funding and stuff is put behind people like Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, and they get into the podcast sphere and they blow up at first because of a lot of ad dollars, a lot of bots, just and then like they did grift their way in. So a lot of people trusted them. But this kind of like back and forth talk, like we just watched with Tucker and Candace, you don't see that on Fox News. They're much more disciplined because they have the production teams behind them. They got, directors and scripts. And so they know how to play the game better. And so what we're seeing is on the podcast sphere, because they tried to be like the new MSM and kind of take us away by building our trust and then giving us bad narratives, you're seeing a whole lot of lack of discipline and how like they don't have the same apparatus, even though they did get pushed up there. It's very interesting. Violence and Poetry says, I'd like to run a theory by you. The monoparty maintains their power by infiltrating, subverting, challenging movements, but couldn't this time because Trump was leading it. I think there is a lot of truth to that. I also would say that this is the first time that the movement became bigger than the party, than the establishment in recent memory. The Tea Party was, effective for a short period of time, but it never became bigger than the Republican Party itself. MAGA did. And it is because, one of the main reasons is because we did have a leader. The Tea Party never had a leader. And see, people, we're all raised to distrust authority and distrust leaders, and a lot of it for good reason. But the fact remains that in movements, you have to have leaders to unify around. There has to be a leader, because otherwise the people won't ever unify around the person. And you need that. No, the movement could still be bigger than one person, but the person there should always be a leader for a time. And then that leader can be replaced or whatever, but you have to have a central figure. This is exactly what the founding fathers understood in introducing the presidency. They created at first this Articles of Confederation, which was our first government, which most people don't remember being taught about. But we had another government before we had our constitutional government we have now. And it was called the Articles of Confederation, and it was terrible, and it fell apart. It didn't work because there wasn't a strong enough centralized force, and they realized they needed a president. And that's not just one of the changes they made, but it was one of the big ones. And you have to have a centralizing force to galvanize a people. And so, yes, having Trump, having a real leader in a movement is one of the main reasons MAGA is so much more powerful than these other leaderships or these other movements. And every major successful movement in history had a leader. It's just a fact. I'd rather listen to Fox Now than Tucker. Absolutely. Let's see here. Anything else? Is it possible for Spencer Pratt to win? It is, but it's very unlikely. But possible? Yeah, I would say possible, but improbable. In other words, his odds to win now because of LA, because of the fraud, even if they uncover it all, even if he's got one shot to win. And that's if the Supreme Court comes in, nullifies the ballots that came in after Election Day, then they win the court cases where California challenges. They allow only the votes that came in by Election Day to be counted. Pratt then goes on to the general election and then runs an amazing campaign. So is there a chance? Yeah, it's just a very small one. Anything else here for now before the next segment here? Speaking of Promethean Action, Hermit, I'm actually trying to get an interview with them. I was just on Rich Does Politics yesterday, and he's releasing another video today, I believe. So if you guys want to check that out. I'm with Steve Kuhn. It's good stuff. Violence and Poetry says, I have a feeling California isn't tracking what came before after Election Day, so it's one big pile because, oops, we lost the envelope. Sorry. Well, that stuff's trackable, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But they're definitely trying to do that. What do I think of Wano Savin? Why is that name not... The name doesn't ring a bell for me. I'm sorry. Okay, let's get into the latest in Iran, what's going on in the globe, the foreign policy aspect. So, real quick. John just tagged me and says, Trump's beating the deep state at the federal level, but now they'll use state, city, towns to thwart the agenda, so to allow riots, spread Islam. The only thing I'd say to that, John, is that they've already been doing that. I don't think there's any difference there. And the states, God bless them, most of the states have woken up and are starting to reverse it. So will there be certain states that double down, get worse? Yeah. Some of the deep blue states will, for a time anyways. But the people will rise up from that too. So my pushback on your comment is that that's already been happening. I don't think it's going to get worse for many of them. I really don't. For most, I won't. So you like watching me open Kuhn's eyes on RDP? Well, thank you. All right. Let's get into this. So this... we had a really interesting weekend with Iran, Israel, and this whole war front. So things really ramped up for a short while, and now they've gone back down. But Iran attacked Israel over the weekend. So hours after Iran launched ballistic missiles toward northern Israel, IDF says Israeli warplanes struck targets in western and central Iran. This was explosions heard across multiple Iranian cities, including Tehran, Tabriz, and Isfahan. Exchange threatens to deepen tensions as Trump attempts to negotiate a deal with Iran. Well, after all this happened, first of all, what the IDF struck was a large-scale strike on strategic defense systems belonging to the Iranian terror regime. Recently, defense systems were deployed across Iran to restore the regime's capabilities degraded during Operation Roaring Lion. Strike led to the dismantling of those systems. Here's a quick little show on this. But defense systems all over here and taken out in these areas. These are the air defense. The Timu missiles that couldn't stop us when we went in. So what does this all mean? Now, Trump came out and basically told them all to stop. Okay, he said, Israel listens to me. I'm in charge. Israel stop. And now they're in ceasefire again. Happened really quick. What's interesting is that because they struck these defense targets, it makes me think that they are that Trump allowed this on purpose, because he sees that during the ceasefire, Iran is trying to, rebulk up a little bit. They can't do that much because they barely have any money. All the imports coming in are being halted, so they're blocked off. The Trump administration's got all this military blockade going on, so not much is getting in, but they are rebuilding a little bit. And it's interesting to me that in this little skirmish that happened, Israel got the go-ahead, apparently on their own, but it's very helpful to us that they just absolutely wiped out the defense all over again. So to me, this looks like this is part of the plan. Trump and Israel seem to be playing good cop, bad cop right now. And because this is only beneficial to us. Now, remember, we keep waiting for these super duper secret missiles. But over the weekend, Israel's used 4 missiles. Iran sent 4 missiles to Israel. They were all intercepted. And then Israel used that to take out their defenses. 4 missiles. If only 4 missiles are being sent, what does that tell you about Iran? Does that mean they're strong? Does that tell you that they're really pushing hard to blow all this stuff up? I don't know, but this seems really fishy to me. Really fishy in an interesting way. And so now it's all backed off again. And President Trump says Israeli Prime Minister, this last night, Netanyahu will have no choice but to accept a U.S. deal with Iran because he calls the shots. Trump calls the shots. He says, I call the shots, I call the shots. He doesn't call the shots. Trump said today's missile strikes by Iran won't impact the deal. He believes the deal is going on. Trump said Iran strikes had not changed his desire to conclude U.S.-Iran negotiations, and oil is now trading higher after the markets got crushed on Friday. I'm starting to believe more and more that there's a game being played here. And the Trump administration is holding a lot more cards than they're letting on. For some reason, they're okay with the media being able to make it look like Trump's getting played. But this is crazy stuff. I mean, Israel literally just went ham on Iran in a way that helps us, and then nothing. And then it stops immediately. And both Iran and Israel agreed to it? Does that smell... Does that pass the sniff test for anybody else? It doesn't pass the sniff test to me. Israel's well known for, if they get attacked, they go all out. Iran's well known for, we're going to start something. We're going to try to hurt you. Neither happened in this case, which is very interesting to me. Now, we got Bessent coming out here, and he had this to say about Iran's assets, which we've been holding, which they have been demanding. In every deal they send forward to Trump, the Iranians, the IRGC is demanding these assets, saying like, you must unfreeze these and we get these. And everybody's like, oh, Trump's going to give in. He's going to, he's going to give them the Obama deal again. Well, listen to what Bessent now just said about the assets.
The economic side in terms of what we've done, and a big mistake that the Iranians made was attacking their GCC neighbors, their neighbors in the Gulf, because we had many very good allies who maybe weren't completely transparent with us on the money, Iranian money that was in their banking systems, all of a sudden became very compliant in terms of being willing to turn over accounts or help us freeze, block accounts. And then the third part was the incredible blockade. I really think it's the economic blockade of funds and the physical blockade of the ships not going in or out of the Iranian ports. Karga Island is shut down. That's their big oil loading facilities, and that means that they're going to have to start taking down the wells soon.
Now, a lot of people have asked me.
So the assets, they're planning to use them to rebuild the Gulf allies. Treasury will utilize all tools available to allow Iranian assets to be made available to our Gulf allies. So instead of us paying for it, we just give Iran's assets to these other countries. This is a huge smack in the face to the IRGC, which is, City of London led, City of London funded. So again, I keep coming back to this point because we've been playing this game, deal, no deal, on again, off again. This weekend it's going to happen. It's happening soon. It's exhausting. I'm not going to lie. as a content creator who is usually good at trying to figuring out what's going on, I've been really good on a lot of timelines on stuff. Everybody who's watched this show for 3.5 years knows, like, I get my finger on the pulse of a lot of the political stuff. This one, it just keeps going. And the only thing I can keep seeing is that they're exposing more, and the pressure is ramping up on Iran economically. But I have a feeling there's just... Trump seems to be doing something with Israel and all this too. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. And then also with the Gulf states, now if he gives all that money to the Gulf states, that's going to just tighten our relationships with them as well. So as Trump, as he alluded to before, working this out, letting this extend long enough and playing in all these other aspects so that he can actually get it to where they're all part of the Abraham Accords, and we just get long-term peace in the Middle East. Everybody's economically together. I don't know, but it is interesting how it keeps playing out this way. And now our ties to these other Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, all these places that Iran attacked, our ties are getting stronger there the longer this plays out. And that's very interesting to me. Is Trump just playing like this master long-term chess game with all this? Because otherwise, you could make the argument it's Trump's getting played by the Iranians, which is an argument a lot of people are trying to make. But what leverage do they have? It just, other than just holding out and letting their own people starve. I don't know. But, and then there's on top of all that, Trump is continuing to push out in the open what happened with Obama and Iran, which I also believe he's seeding the narrative for that so that he can keep getting this message out there. And then we get that uranium, everybody's going to be, and they prove that it came from here. Well, we already have the narrative for it, and that sets up Obama and Clinton to be in big trouble. Here's what Trump had to say on Meet the Press.
President, Iran was the closest to developing weapons-grade uranium after you ripped up the nuclear deal because there were no guardrails in place.
They were developing it during the nuclear deal. You don't know that? Iran, when Obama signed that stupid deal where he paid them billions and billions of dollars, he thought he could bribe them. Listen to me. They were developing a nuclear weapon. That's how they got there. They got all of this uranium during Obama. You know that, don't you? Well, that's how they got there. Don't say this. They got there. They developed it during the Barack Hussein Obama, during his administration.
And they've escalated their development after the deal was wrapped up. But let's talk about the economy. I want to talk about the economy.
Do you see how fast she wants to move on from this? Let's talk about the economy as soon as he's reminding everybody this all happened under Obama. Listen to her real quick when she tries to change the subject.
Let's talk about the economy. I want to talk about the economy.
If I didn't go in there with the B-2 bombers, they would right now have a nuclear weapon, and it could be that half of the world would be eradicated.
Let me ask you about the economy. President.
You know, Trump keeps saying this, that they had a nuclear weapon ready to go. And it makes me think that, you know, they were playing chicken with him when he came in. And that, you know, the globalists, deep staters, because they've been trying to get World War III going for a decade. That was the plan under Hillary, get World War III going. That's why Obama funded this in Iran. I think they were playing chicken with him when he came into office in 2025, and Iran was ramping up, going as fast as they could to get it out, and they never thought Trump would have the guts to bomb them, which is why all the Podcastistan grifters turned on him and used Iran to do it. It's another one of the reasons why. Because they were trying to hold him in check. Your base will turn against you. And they were trying to get him to delay before it. That's a narrative that makes sense to me based on everything we're hearing Trump say. And to me, that makes a lot more sense than Trump just wants to go to war for Israel. That doesn't make any sense. None at all, especially based on his history. This is a great graphic right here. It says, Hillary Clinton supplied Iran with uranium to enrich their nuclear program. Barack Obama gave Iran $1.7 billion they used to fund their nuclear program, and Joe Biden unfroze over $16 billion of those funds. There it is. I mean, it's pretty obvious. This is all you can fact check all that. It all happened. So Trump has perfectly positioned us to do this very hard thing of actually getting Iran to completely change and completely surrender. Doing it, by the way, without any boots on the ground. And it's only 3 months in. Pretty incredible, honestly. And one of the reasons is Trump reminds us right here. Thanks to Venezuela. I mean, listen to this.
We have a lot of alternatives, but the beautiful thing from our standpoint is we have more oil and gas and coal and everything else than any other country on the planet. And then when you add Venezuela to it, we have probably 64% of that type of energy. That's unbelievable. The Venezuela is working out very well. We're getting along incredibly. The country is happy. The people love the USA. And we have a lot of, the big oil companies are moving in there now as we speak.
So Venezuela, obviously, we knocked out earlier this year. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but during the month of May till now, gas prices are down 40 cents nationwide. That's 10%. And that's pretty good. That's with this still going. And it's all because of what Trump just said. More oil and gas and coal and everything else than any other country on the planet. When you add Venezuela to it, we have 64% of that type of energy. That's a very specific statistic. 64% of the world's oil, gas, and coal and energy combined is produced from America right now. That's an incredible statistic. And as things keep changing here, as we're working on the refineries, getting it to work for our oil more instead of the imported oil we have, we're starting to see, because nothing's changed, right? Strait of Hormuz still blocked off. There is some traffic going through there, but it's not what it was. The Iran situation is still going on. And yet oil prices have gone down 10% in the last month. Oh, I was told it was going to go 150. Alex Jones told me it was going to be 140. Some people said it was going to hit 200 by now. No, oil's right around 90. Been going down nice and consistently. This is why he set us up to play this long game. And guys, when the City of London sees this and they're like trying to keep all these skirmishes going on, trying to keep the IRGC from giving in to Trump, trying to keep Russia-Ukraine going on, they're realizing like, we can't outlast this guy. This is why they're ramping up all the political pressure. This is why we keep getting nonstop lies from the mainstream media, from the podcasters, all of this stuff. They just lie and lie and lie because they're trying to apply political pressure that's just not coming. Can you imagine the leverage Trump has if the economy continues to just get better and better while we're in Iran? He'll never have to give in. Iran will just collapse. Trump sure seems to believe that's the way it's going ahead if they don't give up. And I got to tell you, they know it. They're just hoping that we don't know it. They're hoping that we don't wake up. And that's why people like me do these shows, to just try to break through the nonsense they're spewing. So while all this was going on this weekend, we have Ukraine offer peace to Russia, but they did it with UK, France, and Germany agreeing on 5 conditions. This is the City of London's acceptable terms for Russia to get peace, and this is ridiculous. Complete ceasefire. Current front line should serve as starting point for further negotiations. Once a ceasefire takes effect, Ukraine must receive reliable and legally binding security guarantees, including the possible deployment of multinational forces. Yeah, Russia's going to be cool with having a bunch of foreign armies on like next door to them. Russian assets frozen until Russia ends its war and compensates Ukraine for the damage caused. This is not happening. But you see, what they're doing is they're trying to hold Russia hostage to refund them, because these people are running out of money, guys. City of London system is really in a bad place. Germany, which was providing basically the entire economic growth for the EU, is now heading to recession. They are in a very bad place. And without Germany paying for all these guys, without us doing what we did for NATO, it's about to collapse on them, and they need cash bad. So what they're doing is they're going to Russia and saying, listen, we'll give you peace if you pay for everything. Russia's never going to accept this. And this goes to me believing that Ukraine is getting desperate, but they also can't fully give in because of Macron, Starmer, the EU system, the City of London system. They can't give in, but they're trying to find a way out without losing it. They're trying to have their cake and eat it too. It's not going to happen. What is going to happen is they're going to end up in a very bad place because Iran is obvious. We have, because of our energy now, we have the best economy. We have the most energy. We are more self-sufficient than any other country. We now have these ties that we're building with China. Japan has been very helpful to us. The Middle East is stabilizing. We got the Western Hemisphere with Venezuela and all that's all stabilizing. We are sitting pretty. And City of London is absolutely panicking because of all that's going on. So I can't tell you how Iran's going to end. I can't tell you what it's going to look like. But I can tell you that Trump, he still retains all the leverage. And so I just remain very confident that this is going to end very well for us before much longer. All right, guys, hit that like, subscribe. Appreciate you. Let me see. I did see a couple super chats came in. Let me go to those first. Oh my God, Kevin Huffman with the $100 super chat. Brother, thank you so much. That is incredibly generous of you. He says, trust the plan. Brother, I trust Trump very much in what they're doing. So thank you for that. That is incredibly generous of you. And just thank you so much for supporting the channel. Wow. That's amazing. I'm just blown away. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Job for 9 with the $5 super chat says, I think Trump already has uranium and is testing it. That's an interesting theory. I haven't heard that one. That would be cool if you're right. I'd love to see if that's true. If he does, I would say this. I don't know if he already has the uranium, but I think he already has the evidence he needs. The uranium would just be the evidence that would be so overwhelming for everybody else. I think that's probably what I would say is most likely. Okay, what else here? Hermit says, don't know if you've seen it. France is a growing movement to enact Frexit, specifically because of EU energy policy. Trump's blockade is doing far more than people care to see. I completely agree with you. I've been saying that for a while now, but yes, completely agree with you. Mimi says, not sure I agree about Ukraine. Russia's evil. You know, it's never as simple as that. Ukraine it's the proxy state of the deep state. Ever since 2014, the Color Revolution, it was the most corrupt nation in the world by New York Times standards in 2019. It's the hub of trafficking for them and of money laundering. And also there's biolabs there. That was Ukraine was where they were hiding a lot of their dirty activities. And that's, I'm not saying the people of Ukraine are bad, but the government is evil. As for Russia, Russia's not evil. Russia's just a sovereigntist nation that is pretty authoritarian in how it's run. And, we wouldn't agree with a lot of what they do or how they run their system. But the idea that Russia's evil is just, no, that's completely wrong. You can make that argument about the Soviet Union, but this is not the Soviet Union. And anybody who studied Putin and Russia over the last 25 years for more than 10 minutes would learn that really quickly. Russia is going to be a great ally for us when this is all over. You'll see. You'll see. The Russia's evil belief is a psyop that's been used against people ever since Soviet Union fell, because it serves a purpose of of keeping us on the side of City of London militarily, which like NATO is not necessary, but they use that to keep us paying NATO so that they don't have to pay for militaries, you know. People need to stop looking for a clean hero versus villain narratives and international conflicts. Yep, you're right. It barely ever happens, and most of the time it's not clean. It's just, you know, what we what we do. We have to have agreements with countries we disagree with. That's just a fact. Hermit says, Russia's like the strongest kid on the next block. He doesn't hate us. We don't need to fight him. That's very true. Yeah. Russia has high abortion rates, suicide, and alcohol. Okay, fine. I'm not... So does, like, you know, if that's your reasoning behind why we don't, why we shouldn't work with them or have them as an ally, you could use that with every single country. You could find reasons. There is no perfect country. I'm sorry to tell you guys. Every country has its issues. Every country is different than us. Some things they do, many of them do many things worse than us. Some do a couple things better. But that's not the point. The point is, do we need to fight them, and are they looking to take over the world? No. So why can't we all just do stuff together that's mutually beneficial? Is every one of your friends, you know, do every single one of our friends and family members share every single one of our values? No. But sometimes that's, you know, we make relationships. So you know, it's not about that. Anything else? Let's see. Yeah, if you're going to flee America, where are you going? That's better. That's true. That's very true. Hermit says 100 years of communism takes a toll on the people. Yeah, absolutely. He says we're rediscovering Christianity, rebuilding from the past. Keep in mind, communism destroys people and cultures intentionally. That's exactly true. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Russia's not evil, guys. It's just different. It's just different. And they've been through, trust me, the people in that country have been through a lot more than we've been through. So yeah, it takes time to rebuild a culture. You know, it does. It really does. So anyways, well, guys, love you all. It's been almost 3 hours. So I'm gonna call it for now. I'll be back again tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Thank you guys for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe on your way out. Please, if you really like this channel, if you really love the work I do, if you're gaining anything from it, and if you're appreciating this community especially, please consider becoming a member. Get in the description, click the Patreon link. That link, if you sign up, will give you a free month to test everything. Try out the Discord group, try out the members' lives, the members' content. And if you like it, you can stay. If not, you get to cancel with no downside at all, no penalty. So it's worth the shot. And, you know, I appreciate everybody supporting it. Thank you to everybody for the super chats, especially, was it Kevin? Yeah, Kevin with the $100 one. That's just unbelievable. Thank you so much. But yeah, please hit that like and subscribe, guys. And, you know, the community is amazing. Thank you for the community. Thank you to all the members, especially who support the channel. You guys are amazing. Really love the members live we did on Saturday night. That was a lot of fun. And if you become a new member, you can go back and watch it. All right, let's end in a prayer, because prayer works, and we're seeing that evidence of that all the time. And, you know, we'll bless and get out. Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Bless everybody here, Lord. I thank you for all of them and their support of the channel, even just by watching. And so, Father, be with them throughout their days, with their family and everything else, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray. Bless our president, God, with protection, wisdom, and courage to face every impossible problem, and everybody up there fighting with him. In the name of Jesus, we pray. We pray that our elections, the fraud gets exposed, Lord. What's going on in California becomes just so obvious that nobody can deny it, and real changes starts to be affected this year, Lord. That's what we're praying, that this year things start ramping up, even this summer. Father, we ask that. More exposure, and we pray for peace in the Middle East, God, that we can figure out this whole Iran thing. I pray for President Trump that he can navigate this successfully and well. And Father, we just pray for our nation, that you'd bless us, help us continue to grow better, and pray that revival keeps spreading throughout this nation, Lord, and that, God, you just bless us with peace, prosperity, and justice at levels we've never seen before. So we can leave a better future to our kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, God bless you guys. Have a blessed day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Goodbye.